Um, the beginning of the year, not really knowing what was coming when they first like introduced it, seeing all these crazy videos from China. I think it was natural for everyone to kind of feel, if not fear, at least some kind of uncertainty for sure.
Concern, uncertainty.
Yeah, of course. You don't really know what to expect. And I think people that are thinking, I guess, the way that we are and kind of like looking at the other side of things maybe didn't feel that innate fear that others might have, that are like still in fear of what's going on. But I definitely think that there was uncertainty from my end. I don't know that it was fear. It was just more like, yo, what the fuck is going, like, what's about to happen right now kind of shit. So
I almost felt more sad and just annoyed with everything
super
having to go.
annoyed.
Yeah, I like to say I wasn't in fear either. I'm sure a little bit in the subconscious, if nothing else.
For
But
sure.
we're on the same page. Just annoyance, sadness for our livelihoods being messed with, and then the unknown. And even knowing, I was aware that the media lies to us, like in my mind, 99% of the time. Or like the media is never telling us the truth, never here to help us. But even knowing that, you still don't know. You don't know what their angle is. You don't know why they're saying what they're saying. Yeah, it's trying to interpret what's the propaganda here. What are they trying to do? It
Yep.
became too much to try to figure it out. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're walking like in a field of traps and you don't know any second you can land in one. That's like how it feels. We were just talking about that. Anything could be a trap. It's like an information trap, and they lead you down one way, and who knows what's really going down.
I mean, they've done it with religion for fucking thousands of years. They've done it with fucking so many things, man. I mean, I'm at a point that I don't know, man. I feel like, so I dedicated this year, crazy enough, right? I give every year for the last 2 years a word. And this year was fearless. And it was like the perfect fucking year. It's crazy, bro, you know? So,
Yeah.
and I did go through the whole roller coaster. Obviously, it was like a fucking kick in the ass. Everything was like all good. And the other day we're talking about all this shit, and then all of a sudden it gets exposed to the world, and everybody's looking at the same shit now. And yeah, it kind of put pressure on us, the ones that are supposed to know the shit, and we're still like, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on, but um, yeah, I feel like I'm at a point now that I'm kind of more. I just don't give a fuck, to be honest, bro. It's
That's where I am.
like I'm at a point I just don't give a fuck. Like what
Yeah,
happens tomorrow, it is what it is. Let's run it, Like
yeah,
let's
Yeah.
go. What
yeah,
what are we supposed to do? I
yeah,
we spent, and I realized I spent years, not only this year, not only months, not it's been years, just what's this it's gonna be this year, the fucking whatever. There's gonna be a false flag. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. They're gonna fuck new world order, martial law, and it never happens. And then this year it was like, all right, motherfucker, bam, bam, bam. But and it still wasn't what we expected, which is so then what was all the worry for? It was for nothing. I knew
I thought
what
it was going to come much faster. I thought, yeah.
and we thought that it was going to be in a different way, right? Especially like I wasn't expecting a virus at all,
no,
obviously until March, and I'm expecting all kind of different other shit. Who knows? I don't even remember now. Now I'm in a whole different. I don't remember what I used to think, but now it's just every day is something new. And I predicted a bunch of shit, or I have predictions for a bunch of shit, but who knows? So then why even give a fuck? Either way, we're gonna be in the same spot. There's gonna be a bunch of fucking people walking around driving with masks on, and there's still, no matter what, this is happening. There's people excited to take a fucking brand new vaccine. There's people, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna get pissed off, like fuck these idiots, wake up, or
Mm-hmm.
you just be like, bro, I get it. This is it's just the way of the world. I guess it's necessary to a certain extent, and I mean, it hasn't really affected my happiness. So it is what it is, right? It
yeah,
only affects your happiness if you allow it to, which is cliche, but it's real.
The
That's what
cliches are true, aren't they?
they're
they
fucking.
are. They're all fucking true. Every single one of
We
them,
talk
bro.
about that every one, bro.
There
Every
was,
one.
I have no idea who it was, and it's not important, but years ago, Tim Ferriss podcast, one of his guests said, the cliches are hidden in truths. The cliches are hidden in Truth is hidden in cliches.
Yeah.
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 They're all
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Crazy.
Every single one of them. But it's true, bro. Everything's, it's all in our head, right? You're creating this illusion that this might happen or that might happen. And maybe that's the intention behind all of this, is to, because at the end of the day, you're still in fear. Even the people who are thinking a little bit differently, I would argue that most of them are probably still in fear of what's to come and what could happen. And you start creating all these crazy ass scenarios that are never going to happen. I've done it. It still hasn't happened yet.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And they're pumping scenarios at us.
Right. They're
But none of-
pumping like storylines and like forcing us to chase them and like
Yeah.
almost like continue the story in our heads. And
like
then
live it out, and it hasn't even happened. They're making us be characters in their play. It's like, here's the script, you guys be the characters. Like start worrying about vaccines. Start fearing vaccines.
yeah,
I don't want vaccines to come. That's pretty bad news. But there's no one. Vaccines aren't a thing in our life. Vaccines are not a problem for us at all as of now. They could be. For me, the main problem is being annoyed when I go shopping by people wanting me to wear a mask, or the energy when I'm sitting at a coffee shop of these people wearing a mask. It's more the mask stuff and the energy and the fact that we're locked down, and it's not so bad where I am in South Dakota, but that's not that's irrelevant. I guess we're worrying about a lot of things that aren't actually here yet. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't discuss them and be prepared and definitely be aware. Like, awareness is key. But when we think about them and talk about them, 6 hours of our day, that's time we should be focusing on enjoying time with our family, getting out in nature, building our little empires, building our businesses. They're sucking up our attention and our energy, which both you guys know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the hard part is to get out of that and not let them, because it's easy, there's so much. It's the age of information, man. They're hitting us with, multiple stories a day. It's not even like one big
constant information.
It's just constant.
That's what I think about this vaccine shit right now.
Same. Yeah, man.
Like, you're gonna tell me that this guy is giving vaccines live on air, and it's already plunged? That's not a regular fuck up. It's not like, all right, guys, we're on the main stage. You feel me? This isn't like a high school play. This is across the whole world. This is the big one. Yeah. And these motherfuckers are like, all right, even if it is an act or if it is real, whichever way it was, at that point, right? Like, if they're about to give vaccine, the guy doesn't know that it's already plunged. So this is not like the main thing. Like, yo, we got these vaccines. There's 5 people. There's 5 vaccines right here. Like, obviously, this is a very careful procedure, right? Even though it's just a shot, but
the best doctor, the best everything they would have.
Right.
And the guy, it's like, yo, it's like, at least once he notices his plunge, like, oh shit, take it out, guys. I need another one. It's like, no,
real, bro.
You just like play. Come on, bro. Like, what? So do they do that just to fuck with us, or like, was that set up? Was even that set up? That's what drives me crazy. That's why I'm like, yo, I can't.
It's almost, there's no point in thinking about it because we just don't know. All we know is they are lying. We don't know what their angle is or why.
No, we don't know how many layers to the lie. You feel me?
They're playing fucking chess. They're playing badminton or whatever. They're playing bombard.
They could just be stupid as fuck. They could be stupid as fuck, and we're here like, nah. They're that. You feel me, bro? The
like, they did fuck up the vaccine. Like, the girl actually did die or something, and we're thinking of trying to analyze some shit.
Or the vaccine could really be saving fucking tons of lives. Imagine that. That'll be the plot twist. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people were fucking really trying to help the whole world. Like, god damn, bro. That would drive me crazy right there if I found that.
It was all necessary.
That's the cool thing is we are open to being wrong about everything.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for it.
That's how I got here.
But like, we could ask questions all day. Like, where are the dead bodies? There's lots of, like, who's burying? We won't get into all that shit, but
Yeah.
Where are they? Who's burying them? I mean, there's so many questions. It's obviously.
I just feel like
they're saying, we all agree on that, but
yeah, dude. Given everything that's happened so far, like, I feel like it's so evident, especially with like, there's no flu data for 2020.
It's like no one's dying from the flu, right?
Right. So I also saw something that they linked pneumonia, influenza, and COVID.
Yeah.
The CDC did. So they're all kind of like in the same category. To me, it seems as though they've just convinced people that the flu was this crazy fucking, just just a regular flu, convinced people that it was fucking crazy deadly, and everyone kind of bought it. And then they just put a little count ticker at the bottom of the screen and caused mayhem. And people are tripping out over something that's, unfortunately, it's still sad. It still sucks, but people die. Like,
Yeah.
it's like the most natural thing that occurs, right? One of, if not.
There was just the little news clip I saw people posting on Instagram today, which I don't believe, but somebody died from COVID on an airplane.
Mm.
And I don't even believe someone died on the airplane. I think the news stages things a lot of times, but I didn't look it up, but I thought to look up, well, how many people in 2019 died on an airplane? I'm sure it was at least one, or I'm sure it was some.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is show us one person dies on a plane now, and we freak out. But it could have been hundreds every,
Right, exactly.
Learning the numbers helps a lot. Like, people who are scared to fly, if you just learn how many flights there are each day,
right?
Like, actually just doing a quick Google search, like 2 minutes of research can teach you so much, can get you thinking.
Yep.
But that's what they have us. They have us in fear. They have us so busy. That's the whole game, which we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is a question mark on everything. So I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people also tell me, like, that you have to have some kind of certainty. Like, you have to have, I guess, a faith or a trust in something. And I feel the opposite. I'm like, why? Like, I feel like I want to question everything. But then once we get into these things, it's like, you kind of do. I mean, it's endless, right? We could just sit here and fucking just nonstop and, like, yo, they could be faking fucking every article. They could fake.
Yeah, everything.
It just leaves you lost. It's a circle. It's literally it's infinity. Just like everything else in the universe. Everything is infinite. So is this, right? This rabbit hole never fucking ends. And I feel, at least this is just right now, right? Tomorrow I'll feel different. Yeah. I just feel like, for what? They're just fucking with us. They're fucking with us.
They're just fucking with us. They could be doing nothing but fucking with us.
Yeah, just no purpose, just nothing.
Just scaring the shit out of us, getting us into the low frequency, just pumping fear, just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
There could be no camps coming, no vaccine really coming.
Right. That's almost what it feels like with everything that's been, I guess, foretold or promised, right, to have happened. I feel like looking at, just like, I don't know, I've been looking up this shit for a few years now, maybe 5 years, and all the things that when you kind of dive in the rabbit hole, all the things that you find to be afraid of, let's say, that like is backed by whatever facts that, it is backed by, it kind of forces you into creating that illusion like it's going to happen, but then it just doesn't. So like you said, what if they're just doing it literally just to fuck with us?
I mean, I think, go ahead, Ryan, please, my fault.
All right, my bad. So there's something happening, clearly, right?
Right.
But then once you get into like what's for sure happening, that's just scary. Right. And it's inevitable. So those aren't even theories at that point, right? This is the inevitable. This is the path we're going into. We're going into, just to hit it on the head quick, simulations within simulations and fake realities and alternate universe. Like, this is happening right now, right? Everything tracked and traced, facial recognition, social credit score. This is no matter what. There's no
trapped in your house when they tell you to get into your house, curfew text.
There's no denying.
Anytime they want. Here's a text, get in your fucking house.
Yeah.
Who knows at what extent? To what extent? Who knows? I can't even really think that far, because we're already here, and the fucked up thing is that they just drag us along. They drag us along, and then they throw like a little breadcrumb, like the vaccine certificate. They've been talking about this for years, and like, oh my God, they're gonna put a chip in us and they're gonna do this. And now that's not even the case yet, but they're dragging us along while we're still in it. We're still here. Regardless, we're still here, no matter what.
Whereas
is
we could be living pretty similar 2019. Yeah, they got shit locked down and closed, but we could still be gathering in public. We could still be going about our lives at least 70% like we used to, but they
Yeah.
only have us not through fear. And it's almost like their main goal, at least in 2020, was just to keep us inside, away from each other. And they told us many other, like the damn killer bees. To your point, at the
Yo, I forgot about the killer.
I forgot about
what else have we forgot about already?
Oh man, the murder hornets. That's what they call them.
But I'm sure that kept a couple million people inside their house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. No doubt.
And to your point, Rome, at the beginning of this, there was a lot of talk about the microchip coming. Now there's no talk about a microchip at all for months. So, and if it wasn't for the masks, there wouldn't be a lot of evidence of much change other than the politicians going on TV and telling us to stay inside. There's not that much different, which there's fear in the air. There's fear in people's minds. Stores are closing. There's signs on them. But the main difference is really just people wearing masks, I think. Like no one's gotten a vaccine. I mean, now people are just starting to, like we all seen people we know now on Facebook posting there. Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard because I feel like I view it from a different perspective than most. Because up until while I was up in the Northeast, pretty much the majority of the year, up until a month ago, my life did not change at all. Like I was still going to work, still doing the same thing I was doing. I would hit the grocery stores. I wasn't wearing a mask. If anything, I was just, I don't know, kind of seeing the world that other people were living or like being forced to live. So it's hard to view it from the perspective of someone who is living in fear and who's constantly like their whole entire world has changed. Like I feel like for me, it's been a great year. And yes, there's been a lot of frustration and there's a lot of times where the masks are triggering and more than anything, it's just sad, bro. Like and that's another like vibration that I feel like obviously it's necessary in life sometimes, but it's still a low vibration that I don't want to feel all the time. So if anything, I think that's what's impacted me as far as like, 2020 and it being a different world. I just feel sad for people who are being forced to live in this fake fucking reality, mostly.
It's
Yep.
forced us to level up to what Rome was saying a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
I think the three of us and many other people, we've stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I don't care, but it's more just detached from the outcome. And that's like, that's spirituality 101. That's living a good life 101, which has been passed down for thousands of years, like detachment. It's Buddhism. Everything is about just detached from the outcomes. It doesn't matter what happens to you. It's how you view it. It's not the external. It's what's internal. And if you're already on that path of self-improvement or spirituality, I think this has forced us to really level up and use all the stuff we were reading and use our knowledge of how to use the mind to stay calm amongst the chaos.
Yep.
So I feel good. I feel really, I get annoyed sometimes.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of this pandemic, I'm in a much better place now. Like every single day, I'm not bothered by it. Like what's going to happen is going to happen. Yeah. And I've learned that that's their game. So if I just simply have faith, like I believe and have faith that their only weapon, their only game, what this all is about is messing with their minds and our spirits, keeping us on a low frequency. So if I believe that, it doesn't matter what I see on the phone or the TV. It doesn't matter. All I know is I have to stay in a higher frequency. Like even if they're saying they're going to come to my door and kill me, all I know is fear is their tool. So no matter what, I can't be in fear. And we all know like there's only love and fear. And when you make decisions from love, you do good. When you make decisions from fear, you don't. So I've just decided no matter what, I'm not letting any doubt in, any worry, any fear. And I'm not perfect, but shit, much better. Like I can see both your eyes and you were saying, Rome, like it's fucking whatever now,
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page with that for sure.
And that's like because we could talk about the speculation stuff all day. That's something concrete that we know and that could help people. It's like we know detaching from the outcome is healthy. We can't control the government. We're not going to fight the military. We're not fighting the military.
I'm not. No, I'm out.
No, my body, like kill me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to form an army and fight the military. Hopefully they can wake up, but the game is in our heads is what we're all getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like we're saying, it sounds fucked up, and I feel bad even saying it, but I feel like 2020 was the best year of my life.
Yep.
By far. Which
Nice.
is 2019 was the best year of my life. Now 2020 is the best year of my life, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping 2021 is, well, I will make 2021 the best year of my life too. But so I used to see all these like outer what do you want to call them, obstacles that they're throwing at us. That's what they're doing. They're throwing obstacles at us. But as much, you could sit in fear, or you could get stronger from the obstacle. And I feel like that is, they're fucking with 99.99999% of the people out here. And now there's a very small percentage that can see the game and get stronger from the game. That's what I see from it. I just laugh.
Adversity makes you stronger if you decide to do that.
You need it. So, and that is crazy because it came full circle again. Everything is a full circle. So this year was fearless for me. And I realized, so how people talk about love and fear or whatever, right? So, I mean, I believe it to a certain extent. I do think now, I believe that some fear is necessary. And maybe not fear, but it's a specific vibration that is probably categorized under fear.
Like anger or something like that.
Anger, stress, there's
Nervous.
good triggers.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
nervous.
about something.
If you never feel that, then you can't. The same thing I always say. If
Sure.
there's one way to heaven, and hell is on the way. You feel me? There's no other way to get there. You have to go through hell to make it to heaven. There's no other way. So if we finally get to this Buddhist fucking mind state or whatever you want to call it, then what? Then it's boring.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? Then we're just sitting in the clouds forever, and we're
just staring at a tree because nothing matters.
Yeah.
And that's literally what
That's
happened.
real though.
That's what just happened to me. That's a good point.
I mean, that's like a good mushroom trip or something.
But that's what just happened to me recently. I got to a very dark place because I realized that none of this shit fucking matters. None of this shit is.
Dude, life is a fucking game. Life's a game.
It's a game, but then when you put yourself at the God level, right? Because I do believe God's within gods. So I believe I'm God, or I'm a God within another God. Within another God. That shit never ends, obviously, right? Because it's like a fucking atom in your, I think I talked to Reese about this, an atom in your fingernail that's like, yeah, I'm fucking God, and it's, yeah, you think you are God.
Like, technically, yeah.
You're God, you're a
not
God.
Not compared to this God, and then not compared to the other.
Exactly.
Boom, I like that.
How many levels is there to that? God knows, right? Whatever.
We didn't create ourselves, but we are God-like. We are gods of some sort.
I mean, double slit experiment. It always comes back down to atoms know when they're being observed. They know they're conscious in a way. I mean, I can't put the exact definition of what that even means, but it means something very big, clearly. If the whole physics fucking community is freaking out about this is it. At least today in 2020, like, we still don't know what the fuck is going on. We know that this is an illusion. We know this is fake. We know it's 99.999% energy. It seems solid. I feel real. Everything feels real, but it's fucking fake. I'm creating shit with my subconscious mind through my beliefs and my feelings, and we know these things, right? But then what? So you get to the end and you're like, all right, I figured it out. So nothing matters. I look at a fucking tree and who cares, right? That's it. And that's a dark place. So that was my final obstacle, bro. This was what I have been going through for the last few months. And I was like, yo, this is dark. This is really, and it could be depressing, but I wasn't depressed. I was just like, this is what it is. You feel me?
It kind of hits you a little bit, right? It's like a wake up. Yeah, it's disturbing wake up.
Hard, bro. I'm not going to lie. It was hard. But I realized it's like if something just hit me, like the same thing back to the atom, an atom in your pinky nail is probably like, yo, this shit is pointless. What the fuck? I figured it all out. It's like, I need you. You just don't get it. You can't get it. Your mind, your little fingernail atom mind can't wrap its head around this concept. You feel me? And that's how I feel right now. Like, as much as I think I figured all of these things out, I can't. There's no possible way that I could figure out what I'm living inside of. It's like an atom trying to figure out a cell. It can't. It's
Even
completely
if it has an idea and feels like it has a visual, it doesn't understand how it operates or why, and it probably shouldn't spend too much time figuring that out.
for what? It's stressing itself out. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
learn something else.
it can never even take itself out of the cell without the cell collapsing. So it won't. It's physically impossible. It's literally impossible unless it whatever that process. But so I feel like this was my main obstacle. And right now with the the whole sine wave of the calendar, and went from the darkness was September 21st to December 21st, and it just this week is when I like really feel like holy shit, I figured this. Like it gave me a new light, I guess, a new
Like
mission.
weight off your shoulder relief.
Oh my god, it
And we're on the
transformed.
same. There's definitely something with the energy in the air, and
Or
because I've tapped into it recently too. I knew this stuff 4 years ago when I first had my big awakening. I had a big experience, and I knew, oh, none of this is real. Kind of the trippy stuff Jim Carrey says is in his interviews. But then I forgot it. It's like you get sucked back into this world. Kind of knew it, but just not living that way at all. And then about 2-3 weeks ago, I just kind of woke up one day like, oh yeah, none of this shit matters. Just have fun with it. I don't want to die. I don't want this world to end. I'd love to be able to fucking travel to Miami and hang with you guys. But hey, worst fucking case, we are not our bodies. We are more than fine. This is a dream. This is an illusion. This is very temporary. It's supposed to be temporary. If they end my life short 50 years, that's like ending it short. It's not ending it short at all. It's like, oh, I was supposed to live for 1 minute and they made it 45 seconds. Like, so what? Like this, our whole life is a fucking blink. This isn't what we're about. We're about the spirit. We are spirits. We're about the whole universe. We are part of this is just one little fucking part of our experience. I don't want it to end. Life's fucking crazy. Life's amazing.
Yep.
But it's not like they're ending life when they end this life.
I think you posted something about that recently about like the difference or like not being afraid to die, but still not wanting to, like, and appreciating and being in gratitude of life, but still not being afraid of it ending. It's kind of like a
Yeah,
nice
that's
balance to
exactly what I'm
find.
saying.
it could, because it could take you that piece of information, because this is, and I still leave all of that with a question mark. Still, even
Oh,
though I really believe this, I really do believe that this is all fake and it's science. It's not. This is not religion. This is not conspiracy. This is fucking science now.
Modern science agrees with us.
Exactly. But like I said, who knows, right? If they're fucking lying to us about people getting vaccines, they're probably lying. Who knows to what level? But
You know for sure.
just knowing these certain things will take you to a really, really dark place. But then again, it's like, yo, there. So then, are we just this soul that keeps coming back? And like you said, this one little lifetime is a glitch in the fucking vast. It's all infinite. It's just it never ends. It just keeps going. Is it still us? Is a soul is a soul thing? How do we measure that? Or is it like a fruit? Like I was talking to my wife about this yesterday about so like a fruit, right? A fruit is just bits of energy, and it grows from the matrix, from this realm or whatever the fuck this is, the God, right? This is all God. This is
It's like a
nature.
form of consciousness extended or something. Yeah, yeah.
Whatever it is, a apple grows. You eat the apple. Now that energy goes into your body. You have energy. It transmutes into shit now. You shit it out into the earth, back into the matrix, back into Mother Nature, and then it fertilizes to grow a completely brand new apple. But was that, you get me? Was it the same soul transferred, or is it like, yo, you got this one life, you're done after this. There's gonna be a new one that uses your same energy, but that doesn't really mean anything. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Does it mean anything? Do we keep going? What are spirits, right? What are spirits? What are fucking aliens? What do you see when you see a fucking, I've seen UFOs in person. What is that? It defies gravity and fucking disappears. Is that, my boy gave me a dope concept yesterday. That he's like, what if it's like a, like, how we fuck with cats with a laser. You know what I mean? When somebody's fucking with us,
That's
it goes,
hilarious.
wow, you know, because a cat is like, what the fuck is that? And
Yeah.
it goes all over the place and then it disappears. And then they're like looking around like, what was that?
Yeah, it doesn't understand what it is, but
And they can't. There's no fucking way. And that's probably what's happening to us. Like we can't even wrap our heads around any of this shit. And we're trying so fucking hard
yeah,
for what?
yeah,
You gave me a good little realization that there's different levels to consciousness. Like everything is conscious, but I think we're more conscious than an alligator. We can create reality with our minds and think about the future and rewrite the past.
Yep.
Alligators and bees are conscious. The atom in our finger is conscious, but we got to be more conscious than that. And then the earth is conscious, so it definitely has some different level of understanding that we don't. And then the creator. So we're all different little small sections of it, but different levels we're not supposed to understand. I don't know.
Come back full circle. Like, I just don't know shit. You feel
Yep.
me? That's it?
yeah.
And so yeah, we don't know. And you go ahead first, Reese.
No, I was just saying Rome when you like God knows.
God knows, right? It's the fucking truth. Or does he? Or does it? Or does
And then like, is like God's not in the sky, God's inside of us. So how much are like, I'm not God, I'm not the creator, but I have the creator's abilities. I have at least some of the creator's abilities inside of me. That's pretty powerful. Like,
Yeah.
Can I create the whole world? I don't think so. No. Can I create my reality? Yes.
Yeah, you can create your world. Maybe not the external
That's
world, but
godlike. That is godlike, you know.
maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just
Animals can't do
figure
that.
that out and have fun and live the life that you want, and you know.
But none of us knowing for sure is a good point. So it's just about faith. You know, so I had an experience 4 years ago. I had a brief out of body experience where my spirit left my body. That's what woke me up to everything. That was my awakening. I was sitting in my room for a month. I wasn't working. I wasn't really going out much. I think I went out to Trader Joe's to get food. I was just sitting there consuming the information. I was having so many insights and downloads. It was like I was addicted to that process. Something in me was letting me know nothing else matters. Keep doing this. Like, you're learning so much, you're leveling up every day. Keep going. But it was the experience of it not being, same with you, Rome. It wasn't a fun experience. It was dark. Like realizing everything I believed isn't true, realizing we're being lied to. But at some point it feels like it was for 25 minutes, but it was probably 2 to 25 minutes. And I just wasn't in my body. You know, I felt like I felt so expanded. I was out of my body, and that's what made me realize. That's why I talk the way I do. That's why I believe we are spirits. That's why I believe we're so powerful. I didn't used to know this. Like I felt it. You know, I'm not just saying something I read in a book. But I can't say for sure that's what happens when I die. I was alive when that happened. And then, you know, I didn't read anything about it, but then I research it more now. There's all types of accounts and books about people having out of body experiences and people having near death experiences. And they all say the same thing. And it was very similar to my experience. Like when we die, or even not, our spirits leave our bodies for sure. We're not our bodies. Our bodies change so much. Our spirits leave our bodies. So I have faith in that. So that takes away so much fear of death for me, like so much. I'm not worried about it. I know what it feels like when my spirit leaves my body, and I feel the exact same. I'm still Cory. I still feel the same. I have the same feelings. You just feel incredibly powerful and expanded, like you can do anything. But to your point, I can't say that's what happens when we die. I don't know that. But I talk like that and I tell myself that, but I can't be 100% sure. It's like I'm assuming based off of this pretty powerful evidence, but who knows, maybe when I die, my spirit doesn't leave my body and I just go in the ground. But based off what I felt, what other people say, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
it's interesting because when it comes down to feelings, so I've done psychedelics fucking tons of times, and I've had very, very deep, even through meditation, through breath work, and all of these, they all align in somewhere. So like when you're dreaming, where are you? Your body is here. Your mind is, are you somewhere else? Is it, I don't know. Who knows? This is too complex to even understand. But I've had very, very deep trips that it feels like a realization. I don't know, it could be a figment of my imagination, who knows? But I felt like I came down to play this game on purpose. Like I got into this avatar and said, all right, let's go. You feel like I got this. It was like an epiphany, and it was very, very strong. It could be my imagination, who knows? Now, science is still trying to study these psychedelic experiences or, ego deaths or whatever, all of these things, DMT trips, and nobody knows what it is, but it feels so fucking real. It feels more real than a lot of this shit.
That's
And
fascinating that nobody knows. No
Yeah.
one can say for sure.
I was gonna say that how it's something you can't even measure, because even if, who's gonna tell you what happens after you die?
exactly.
The only
Yeah,
thing we have to go off of is people who died, but
right.
then came back, and that's not the same as dying.
It's not.
Yeah.
You came back, so maybe it's different when you actually die. We can't, like, that's some pretty
You'll
good
never,
evidence.
you'll never know.
You
So
know,
then
if
what
50
does that
people,
mean? Like,
what?
where do you go? Because if you want to base it just straight off of like what's real and what's material or what's physical, then your brain will just shut down and you're dead, right? And then
You got it.
God knows where the hell you go. And then, oh shit, psych, come back. It's like something says, oh no, you're back. And you're like, oh fuck, I came back. Where were you? Right. And then what's interesting, this is what has actually helped me through this like dark time of thinking like none of this shit fucking matters, was if you listen to anybody that has experienced that, the dying and coming back, they're all extremely grateful for life.
Yeah.
Everybody's super happy to be here. Nobody's like, yo, you know what? Fuck that. This shit sucks anyways. I saw the light, and you know what? Fuck this place. I'm gonna, like, how many people commit suicide or attempt suicide, survive it, and then they're like, yo, I'll never do that shit again. I don't know many people that have survived. I mean, or heard stories of many people surviving a suicide attempt and then done it again, right? For the most part, they're like, yo, fuck that. I saw that. At least the videos I've seen and experiences that I've gone through, I've known people. I've never seen somebody say like, you know what, fuck this place. I wish I would have just gotten out. There's something to that. I would imagine there's some kind of gratitude. There's some,
It's like so beautiful. It's so just innately beautiful to be here, because they actually like the other side too.
Yep.
Like they say it's like a beautiful feeling on the other side, but they still like it here more, it seems like.
Yeah. I wonder if you still, because you said you still felt like yourself. So I wonder if if like pain carries over and your issues and the shit that you're still stressing over
I
carry.
believe it's in the heart, and that's what's in. And I'm not religious. I like to learn from all books, so I learn a little bit from the Bible. But they definitely say, God judges what's in our heart. From my experience, you feel the same. Like again, I can only say what I think, but this is what I really, really, really believe. And I really have removed the fear of death. Like, to actually face it, that will be, it's difficult. Dying is probably the most difficult thing, but I don't fear the concept of my body dying. I understand that it's going to be just fine the second I die. It's going to be beautiful. And I believe I come back, but even if I don't, I think we have the option. I think certain people, if not everybody, have the option to come back or not. If we decide to come back, it's because we want to help this prison planet. We want to help people like we're doing. But if you decide to not come back, there's no shame. God or the universe doesn't judge you. It's just, hey, now you're in the spirit world. And I think we come back and we're forced to forget everything to play this game. But what I think is really cool is, yeah, like, we are the same in the spirit world. We have the same identity. We see each other and we hang out and we communicate. We communicate through thoughts and feelings. Like, there's no time and space. We communicate through telepathy, and people are tapping into that now today already. Like, we're leveling up already, AKA we're getting closer to the spirit world. We're living more spiritually. I feel like a lot of people are talking about how synchronicities and coincidences, and, oh, I was thinking of that. It's like we're tapping into the same wavelength. Like, telepathy is real. And Kanye, in one of his, iconic interviews, maybe the Ellen Show, he says, in the future, I don't think we're going to talk with words. Like, he's like, that emoji says, like, words get in the way.
Yep.
And if we just quiet our minds, like, we can actually communicate. But anyways, in the spirit world, what I believe, we communicate with thoughts and feelings. And we have so many distractions in this world. We could list them all, but we're constantly distracted. And it doesn't matter if I'm sitting in my dark apartment with nothing on, I'm still distracted, because in this world, There's just distraction, thoughts. Oh, this girl, this was on the news. I got a bill to pay. Constantly shit going on up here. The second we go into the spirit world, it all disappears. You realize nothing matters. Nothing matters except who you are, how you treat people, your relationships, and how you feel inside. It's all that matters. And the reason it really fucking matters is because there's no distractions. So how you feel inside, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. It's the only thing that's present. It's the only thing you feel, and you're going to live with it 24/7. So for me, I want to make damn sure what's in my heart is good and good feelings. I don't want to have regret. I don't want to have bitterness. I don't want to have any hate. Like I'm not love and light at all, but I want to make sure I'm not feeling anything but strength and courage and love and good feelings inside of my heart, because I believe that's what I'm going to have to live with 24/7 in the spirit. And that's what hell is. It's not a place. It's a state of being. It's a frequency. Hell can be on earth. Hell can be in the spirit world. Hell is feeling really, really shitty. And hell in the spirit world means everyone feels really, really, really shitty. And if you talk to people who astral dream, there's certain places where they'll go where everyone's on a really low frequency. Everyone's in real fucking fear. Like they're angry, they're angry, they're scared, and they're bitter to the max. And that's hell. And what I've heard from just one person, but it hit me hard, there's no talking in hell. You wouldn't dare talk to anybody because everyone is so scared. You don't even look people in the eye. You know, it's like such a low frequency, like someone could just fucking stab you for looking at them. It's like everyone's so scared, so pissed. It's just no looking at. So for me, I want to make sure I'm in a high frequency always. It doesn't mean love and light. It means fighting and strength too. It just means belief, faith, confidence, courage, love, whatever, high frequency. And if I feel like if I'm in a low frequency in this world, I'm going to bring that with me into that world. But I believe I have until the last day of my life to remove that. That's why people have priests by their bedside, I believe. As long as I can get it out and have good things in my heart, it's like the last second of my life, whatever's in my heart, kind of, I take with me. So
Heaven and
people
hell.
for our sins anytime type of thing.
Yeah, that's real. It's like heaven and hell.
And what do you know? What are they doing? They're fucking with our frequency. They don't care about this world. They don't give a shit about this world or our bodies. It's spiritual warfare. There's war going on. The battlefield's in the mind. The prize is the soul. There's that famous quote and also that viral video of the priest saying this, and he's like has the craziest eyes. But we don't battle with flesh and blood. I don't know the whole quote, but you guys know what I'm getting at. We don't battle with flesh and blood. We battle with principalities and higher authorities in the spirit world. We're battling a spiritual warfare here. They don't give a fuck about vaccine. I said this on my story the other day. They don't care about poison in our body. They care about poison in our mind, thus, so it can get into our soul. Their only goal is to poison our soul, and they're doing that by poisoning our mind. The only reason they would vaccine us is to poison our soul, and people are aware of that. Oh, it fucks with your DNA. It fucks with your soul. Yeah, because it's only about the soul. So all I know is no matter what I see on the TV or the phone, I'm not going to be in fear. I'm not going to hate people. I will use anger, but I'm not going to stay in anger. You feel me?
Yeah.
The whole game is to not let them get us in fear. That's the whole game.
Yeah, that's real. It's like
because they want us to go to a bad place in the spirit world. They don't care if we're in our fucking house here. They're playing the long game.
Yeah, it's like shake the spirit because heaven and hell resides within you, essentially.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that.
So then why? That's my whole thing. Because so then there's another thing I've realized. I've been chasing, right? I feel like I've been chasing heaven, right? Meditating, doing all these things, getting your mind right, getting rid of fear, getting rid of this, reprogramming your brain and being grateful and all these things, right? And then I realized, where am I going? Like, it's great. This is awesome. My life is 100 times better than it's ever been. It's only getting better and better. But where am I going? And you will never, I feel like you're never going to escape hell. You need hell, right? Like I keep saying, everything is polar. It's a law of polarity. You need negative and positive. For you to experience positive, there has to be a negative for you to even be aware that exists, to appreciate the positive.
I agree.
You know, so then what is their goal? If we sit here and we, being a conspiracy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, we always focus on the bad of what they're doing, because they do keep us in fear. They obviously project all the negative shit. You'll never see any positive shit in mainstream. For what reason? Why? I don't know. So what is it, to make us better? Is it to make us stronger? Is it the necessary? Where do we go? Like this utopia, right? This idea of utopia or what? And I love like the things that Kanye is doing, and it sounds like a fucking utopia is possible. But then again, where's the polarity in that? What would happen if we have no equal opposite? And that's why I also feel like there is poverty in the world. There is like China. China's probably necessary. China's, how they're so controlled, and North Korea and Cuba and kids starving in Africa, and it's fucking terrible. But unfortunately, it might be necessary for people like us to be this free. And
I think
if
so.
the whole world was just free, then what would happen, right? Would that even, is that even possible? Is it possible for everything to be like you said? It's the same thing as the whole love and light thing. Is that even attainable? I don't feel like it is. I just feel like I just don't know anymore. I'm at a point that like I know I need help. I know that for a fact. I need this shit to make me stronger and overcome obstacles. And I need the heaven mind state. I need to know that I gotta ground myself by being grateful and all these things, and not just think that this is an illusion and fuck this place. I have a family that I'm raising, and all these other beautiful things. So that's the polarity, right? Because so then what is like?
It's
Can
almost
we?
like having a kids is a good analogy. Like there's so many pros and cons to having a kid. Like you're gonna go through days of hell.
Yeah,
And Reese, I want to hear your thoughts on what he's saying. But two thoughts is, I agree with you completely that we have to go through hell to get to. No, you can't become awakened and understand what's going on and become strong and courageous unless you go through shit. And I think Carl Jung says for a tree, I'm gonna butcher it, but for a tree to reach to heaven, its roots have to go down to hell. But then I think they want us to stay there. Like, what if you stayed there? Like, we've all been in bad places, but we came out. And I think they're trying to get us to stay there.
and why? Are they trying to kill? So if Earth
Okay,
is
so
a cell and we're just atoms in it, are they trying to kill this cell? Are they
we're
trying?
looking at it wrong.
No.
You is what you're saying. Like as humans, we're projecting our human mindset onto it. When we see a lion eating a gazelle, we feel bad for the gazelle or the baby gazelle. Like, but there is no good or bad. The gazelle getting eaten alive in a torturous way is not bad. So this universe has positive and negative energy, the yin and yang, the balance, but we call it good and bad. But there
Exactly.
is no bad. And you touched on this a little bit last time we talked, Rome. So the Aztecs 2,000 years ago, or the elites today, killing babies for blood sacrifice, we believe it's bad, rightfully so. They may be more spiritually awake. They may understand something about the universe that we don't, because there isn't good or bad. And there's the universe and there's nature, and it's like everything that happens is part of the universe and nature. And nature and the universe aren't biased. There is no good or bad. We call it evil, but maybe it's just positive and negative, and it needs to be. And we would like for it to be utopia and all positive, but it's probably delusional thinking, because there needs to we don't live in a good universe. Maybe we just live in a universe
It
with
is
things.
what it is.
Yeah, like the
It's like
fucking wild
Christianity, right?
dogs eating an animal alive seems awful, but it's not.
And it exactly like Christianity. So if you think about Christianity and the way people like us look at Christianity, we're like, this is fucking horrible. You're full of shit because you're thinking that there's this all-loving higher being and that they created everything in perfect image and everything is beautiful. But then why the people that question it are like, especially even Satanists and shit like that, and they're like, why is there starving kids? Why is there raping? And why is there all this other bad shit if God is the one that created all of this anyways? So then what we're not seeing is what I think is for it to for you to reach, it all comes back down to it. Like for us to appreciate our food, we have to see kids starving. And that's like a real Hispanic thing. I don't even know if that's just an American thing. And tell me no if you haven't, if your parents is like, you better fucking finish that food because
Yeah,
there's
Yeah.
starving kids, and and that's real though. You really think like as a kid you don't really care about it, but there's a reason why your parent is saying that. It's because they're projecting their, it's like, yo, that food is very valuable and you need to know, like you need the reason the parent is even so grateful for that food is because they know that there's kids starving somewhere else, and because of how hard they had to work to get that food and all that
And their
shit.
kid's not starving, thank God, but they have to, yeah.
But God had to create that for these people to be grateful for it, and there has to be every action has a what is it, a positive and a negative reaction or whatever the Newton's law is, and it's happening everywhere. There's no like, I feel like everything is just vibrating, and there's up, there's down, there's up, there's.
And that's why we're not supposed to fear death. Death isn't bad. It's just the universe. And like anything, like someone coming up and stabbing a kid, like the worst thing you could think of. We're
Yeah.
supposed to be better equipped and trained mentally and emotionally to handle that, to be detached. Because it's not, I feel like the Native Americans knew that. I think our ancestors knew that. I don't think they walked around fearing death. I think they felt some sadness when their loved one died because they're not in this world anymore. But they understood it's not about good or bad. It's just things just are.
Yep.
And so like things like that that are super spontaneous, we'll consider evil, right? Like they go and they fucking stab a kid or something. How many lives is that going to change for the better? Like how many people experience something like when I like how they say the good die young. That's, I don't know why, but it does happen. The
Yeah.
most influential, the best people, the most, like when I last year my cousin passed away, and I think about it, I'm like, the one that passed away was like, it was like perfect, right? Like it's
He was a
fucked
great
up.
kid, great guy.
He was just, at least from my little universe, it was like the one that was like, what the fuck, made me wake up more than probably anyone else. Or maybe it's just because that's what I had to experience. But it was like such a weird, it was just at the very moment, right? Like Kobe. Like I look at Kobe, that's a better example, because obviously that's, family is different, because anybody in your family is gonna make you appreciate new things or whatever. But Kobe, I look at Kobe, I'm like, I don't think there was one celebrity in the whole universe that could have died that would have made a bigger impact than Kobe. Just the guy he was. Could have been LeBron James. LeBron James, I'll sit here and I mean, he was probably a better basketball player. He's probably more famous or whatever you want to call it. It would not have made the same impact. It doesn't
Same
matter.
with Michael Jordan even. Yeah, good point.
Michael Jordan, right? The GOAT or whatever. It's not the same impact. It was, how many lives did that affect? Was there a reason for that? Was that necessary at the very moment for the earth or for God? You know what?
It's like one animal dying, but then 8 wild dogs get to eat and live on.
Exactly.
I had a friend pass away. The good die young, I love this. And it kind of hit me. And this is just my theory. It's like they're the fun ones. They're the social risk takers who live life to the fullest. They're a little bit more risky. They're a little bit more fun and out there. And that's why we like them. That's why they're the good ones. And then they end up like having an accident. Something ends up happening. I've known, 2 guys from high school died who I wasn't close with, and then one recently. And I was starting to notice, I was thinking about the pattern. Like they're fun, they're social, they're risk takers. And it's like they just took it too far one time.
Yep.
I don't know if that's why, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many question marks, bro.
But yeah, and when where I was going with that is when my friend passed, I was burning sage one day, like just randomly after that. And it's like, oh, I'm burning the sage, I'm killing the sage, but it's spreading and lifting everyone up. So it's like the universe needed to take them or something to make everyone around them.
Yep.
It's hard to conceptualize, bad things being necessary, but I think when you break it down, it makes a lot of sense. It really does when you put it that way, as far as like forcing an impact on others, whether it be to be grateful for your food or whatever it is. I mean, like Kobe dying, I think it reminded people of his mentality, and it reminded people of his mindset. And look how many people are probably living that way. Everybody's living mama mentality now. So I think it's really hard to conceptualize evil being good, but yeah,
Bad
that's
things,
mind fuck.
bad things aren't bad. We're just seeing the bad in them.
Because
But
it
we're
could
not
all be
looking at it.
necessary. All this shit could be completely necessary, and we could just, yeah, and we could be going with it and flowing with it and not even worrying about it.
Like,
But
There's a book called Gratitude Effect. I just was looking up on my Audible to see the title again. It's by John D. Martini. He's on The Secret, I think. But the only point of the book is be grateful for everything because the universe is balanced. Anytime there's bad, there's always equal. Anytime something goes wrong, there's equal good. We just don't see it. And then when something goes good, don't get too celebrate too much because there's bad there too. And he used 9/11 as an example of how it brought so many people together and lifted the country up.
Yeah.
So it's so important to always remember there's been so much good in this. It's brought us, it really, 2020 has made people really reevaluate their values and get back in touch with the important values, friends, family, nature, like survival in a good way.
Yeah.
Less material things, more of the real stuff.
Yep. Health, hopefully. I feel like,
Mhm.
you know, some people are a little bit more aware of what they're actually doing. Like, yes, it's, you know, our spirits are definitely something that we need to nourish, I think, on the daily, but our bodies too. I mean, at least while we're here. So hopefully, you know, I think a lot of people have definitely taken a turn for the better, despite all the bad shit that's happened this year. So maybe it is that perfect dichotomy that is life and the balance of it. And it's almost unrealistic, right? Chase heaven, you're chasing the unchaseable. Like, you're not gonna,
It's
like,
interesting.
we're not always gonna be happy. That's very unhuman like. Some Westworld shit.
Yep. That's why I understand people like Jordan Peterson now, man. I used to look at Jordan Peterson, I'm like, how is this motherfucker so smart? And he looks so like he's in a dark place always. And I never understood like his how he was depressed. He's gone through these like depression episodes and shit like that. I'm like, bro, this guy's a fucking genius. This guy really got a lot of shit figured out. And then you see him and he never looks happy. The guy never looks fucking happy. He just looks like he's a dark like. And now I think about it, I'm like, he reached this. This is what he reached. He realized, or maybe not him specifically, but I feel like you kind of have to go through it to understand that. Like,
It's the shadow work. It's facing the darkness in us and in the people who are positive all the time, like love and light. They're actually unaware of 50% of the universe and 50% of themselves and 50% of their friends. They don't understand we all do bad things. We all have it in us. And I think what you're saying, which I've tapped into the last month, don't hide from the negative. Don't hide from the negative. Don't be scared of the negative. Don't get down if you feel down for the day, or don't beat yourself up if you feel low frequency or anger or whatever, because it's just part of the universe. Like when I beat myself up and feel down about it, then it brings me even more down. Just accept it. Just accept that grandma died. Just accept that I'm feeling angry today. Like it's the fucking universe.
you gotta face it. And that's the whole thing.
Face it. Face it.
So
Exactly.
we're so used to running from shadows and running from them because we're chasing the light. So if you're
Exactly.
chasing the
Universe.
light the whole way, you're running from all these shadows. So the more light you have, the bigger the shadow. And that's what I think. So I've always tried to understand like guys like Osho. So Osho was the fucking man. Osho was a genius. And then I saw this Wild Wild Country shit. Was it Wild Wild Country?
I love that. Yep.
And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker was crazy, right? Wasn't did he end up
Taking over. He was trying to take over a whole state.
He was trying, and wasn't he like fucking out some like weird sex shit and like
They were real weird. They poisoned the water of the town. They were doing some fucked up stuff.
They were doing some fucked up shit. So I
Poison.
realized, and this other guy too in Waco or whatever too. That guy, I saw the first episode because people are like, yo, that's you fucking with me, and I'm like, I hear this guy. I'm like, this guy's the fucking man. This guy really knows his shit. And then I hear in the next episodes that he's like fucking everybody's wife and like having little kids with.
Same.
It's like the weird shit, right? So then I start thinking about that. I'm like, how these smart motherfuckers that really have a lot of shit figured out, where do they get twisted up in this? Like, it's so polar, and that's the whole thing. They're so enlightened and they're so into the light and this and all this shit that they have the biggest shadows. They have the deepest, darkest, fucking weirdest.
And maybe they didn't integrate it enough, and they're using it too much. You think?
I think everything. So
It's like we can use our shadows for good. They're using it for not good, but that's not necessarily evil.
ultimately, always, just like everything else in the world, everything is searching for homeostasis. Everything is trying to find a balance. Your body, the earth, frequency, sound, everything just tries to find its balance. So we can't have 24-hour sun. There's a reason why the sun has to go down. We have to have darkness, and you'll probably go crazy, actually. So our bodies is also, the kingdom of heaven is heaven, and then the whole Kundalini shit, right? And then hell is your sex chakra, and then you have to, then shadows and light. You have to. I feel like and then your heart is the center,
Mm-hmm.
coincident,
Mm-hmm.
which is Earth, right? If you take out the H from Earth and you put it in the front, it's heart, and so there has to be. This is the way I picture it. I picture up here is heaven, your root chakra, hell, where you're creating dense matter is where you're literally creating life from is your sex chakra, which is hell, which is it's red for a reason.
Huh.
Then your kingdom of heaven, and right in the middle is earth. And everything has to find its balance in the middle. Like we say, everything projects from the heart, whatever. You can't be just in heaven all the time. You can't be in your head
Yeah,
all the
it's
time.
not natural.
You can't be just fucking having sex all the time.
Everything's amazing. Yeah.
And and I think that's where maybe Hollywood is. Maybe they're operating more from the whole root chakra, hell, shadows, and all of this dark shit. And then you have yogis and Buddhists and all this, and they're operating more from just heaven all the time. And I don't think either one of them work. I feel like it's kind of like some kind of weird balance that needs to be found, just like everything else in the universe. Everything finds its balance, no matter what. Water, everything.
Masculine,
Everything.
feminine, positive, negative, what you're getting at.
So
Huh.
what? So then I think those people are just too focused on the light that they are not facing their shadows. And then I think there's people that face their
Yeah.
shadows and they are mingling with their shadows too much, and it'll drive you fucking crazy, and it'll take you down a hill and you'll get trapped down there. And then there's, so I think there's somewhat of a balance, man. Everything has to be some kind of fucked up balance. And that's dark in itself, right? Because you have to realize that you got to kind of mingle with the darkness and with the demons and with the spirits or whatever you want to call them, density. And
There's no life without death. It wouldn't make any sense. We need death.
it would be horrible if you didn't die, if you didn't have that fear. And I think that's what they do with religion. That's what they do with authority. Like one of my boys just said to me the other day, he's like real liberal, and he's like, "Nah, man, fuck cops. They don't like. We don't need cops. Cops don't do anything, anyways. They show up after the fact." And I started thinking about, it. I'm like, that's pretty crazy that you like. I've never thought of it like that. I always think like, but then, I mean, I used to do a lot of bad shit when I was a kid, so I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
It's the fear of cops that stop us.
like just the fear of cops alone is what stops us.
Cops don't prevent crime. They show up after. That blew my mind when I heard that too.
And I
Cops
had never heard
don't
that.
respond. They come way after the fact the crime was committed.
So when I saw
It's the
that,
fear of jail.
that what jail? What?
It's the fear of jail they're controlling us with. We're controlled a lot by the fear of death and the fear of jail. Those two things are powerful.
Fear of hell, which is religion, and then the fear of detention in school.
Whereas we shouldn't have fear of any of this shit, and that's your point. Don't fear hell,
Exactly.
because then you can rise above it. Because if you don't fear it, then you can go down and come out. I think if you fear it, maybe it affects you more.
Experience it.
Mind.
And I experienced it, bro, not too long ago. I had a mushroom trip, and it was a very light trip, which was, I think, why it was so dark. Because usually you have mushrooms and it's like this beautiful fucking trip. And I mean, I've gone dark places with it, but it always ends up ultimately like beautiful at the end. Um, for me, at least, I've done this shit mad times, and it's always like that. And this one, since I guess it was a small dose, it put me in somewhere weird, bro. And it was just like, I feel like it put me in hell for a second, right? And I was okay with it. I was not in fear. I was just fine. And that's what set off this dark place that I'm telling you that I've been for the last 2 months. But I became okay with it. And then I realized I saw some kind of light, and it was like, all right, bam, there is duality in this, right? Because I feel like we focus too much on this light, bro. And it's beautiful when you're also aware of the dark though, and that whole love and light shit that resonates too. Like I've heard you talk about it a lot, and
Because they're not willing to they're not willing to even face the dark.
those people have a unsettling awakening one day, bro. And
they have a big wake up coming to them.
Yep.
They're gonna have a hard time handling. So do you? And obviously, cool if you I kind of hope you disagree. Do you agree that like we want to stay in the high frequency, but never fear the low frequency. Like
Cool.
never fear. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Like a lot of the people I'm talking to, my friends who I've connected with through Instagram or from real life, they're so like, protect your energy. And that's how I used to be, like negative people, negative, like, but now I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of it. You can throw anything you want at me. I don't give a fuck. It's like you transmute it, to use that word. I don't fear hell. I don't fear the negative. I love having, I don't astral dream or anything, but recently I'll have dreams with like some negative, some good, some bad. And it's like pretty extreme negative energy. And in the past, I might wake up and be like, oh, did I do something to attract it? Why am I having negative energy in my life? Now I fucking embrace it. I feel like I love it. I love experiencing the universe, and negative and fear is part of the universe. I like it.
That's
Because
exactly
it's
what
not
I'm working.
bad. It's just negative.
Because even when you feel fear, like a very real fear, right? I think whatever the basic, you're in the jungle, you see a fucking lion or a wild cat, and that fear, regardless of it being real or not, you're forced to feel alive. You're forced to feel like you're living.
Yep.
The
So
movie 300, you guys reminded me of two quotes. Yeah, they say fear is just a heightened sense of things. The kid is out there in the cold with the wolf and he kills the wolf. Fear, if we didn't let this society program us, fear is just a heightened sense of things. It's a gift. They
yeah,
jump people off they have people bungee jump and they're wearing this little like VR thing, or they're wearing a little headband where they can see numbers. They're wearing a digital thing around their eyes and around their head, and they can see numbers flashing, and there's numbers going by too fast to see. But when you're bungee jumping, you can see the numbers because time literally slows down.
Holy
that's
Like
shit.
if you're in
wild
fear,
as
it's like
fuck.
things move slower. And they did a study on firefighters going, I forget, but there was, fear slows down time for us. Fear sends strength to our arms.
That's real, because I feel like some of the biggest and best decisions and choices I've ever made, I've been afraid before making them.
And so we're supposed to use it. It's a tool, and everything's a tool. And that's exactly what you're saying, Rome. All this, everything's a fucking tool.
Yep.
Yep.
Just like I tell everybody, like, so if I were to grant you powers right now, that you could, at the snap of a finger, you have whatever you wanted, because that's ultimately, this is what I feel like I was chasing. I was chasing like fucking money and whatever, like just pure joy, pure happiness, excitement all the time. And then I realized finally that it's like, yo, I don't want that. I mean, you can't have that. It's impossible, first of all. But so let's say I would have granted you that. At all times, whatever you want. You wake up, bro, you got the mansions, you got a Lamborghini. Oh, you know what? I don't want to drive a Lamborghini. I want to drive this today. Whatever you want. Drugs, whatever the hell makes you happy, bro, you got it. At it. 2, 3 weeks of that shit, you're gonna lose your fucking mind. You're gonna go crazy and you'll probably kill yourself because you eventually need obstacles. I feel like the purpose of life is levels. It's a game, right? So Mario, you're gonna play fucking Mario and you're gonna lose and you're gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah,
And
it wouldn't be
you're
fun if you
gonna,
won all the time.
it would be horrible.
If
It
you
would
Yeah,
be
keep playing
horrible.
the same level that you've dominated,
For what?
that's retarded. No one would do that.
And if we're here talking about this illusion and there's no point, that's really no point. You know what I mean? Like, so you want the challenge. That's why there's levels. That is why there's a concept of levels. I even do
Constant problems are good. Constant obstacles, constant problems.
like I let my kids win, and then every once in a while, I heard a concept like you let them win 80% of the time or some shit, and then 20% is what's gonna make them better. Because if they think that they can just always win all the time, boom, they're never gonna want to get better, and that's the same shit with life. But then if you just beat them up all the time, you drill somebody's brain. Like today, me and my daughter were racing, and the first one I let her beat me, and she's standing there like cheering. The next one I beat her on purpose, and she was like super pissed. And I'm like, oh, but now you got to get better. And then the next one I let her beat me again, and she was like the most victorious shit in the world. But that's the whole point, right? Like you need these things, and if we didn't have them, life would suck, which is the most darkest thing, because if we didn't have, it's just obstacle. We need it. That's the only way.
It seems like we all have found peace in this way of living, but this way of living is saying, stop chasing the positive. Just accept. It's detachment. It's acceptance. It's surrender. I don't give a fuck.
Surrender.
I don't
Yep.
care what they do to my body. I don't care what's going on with this vaccine stuff. It's a game. This is an interesting level of the game. I would like to play the game more of in a utopia type environment, but that's just my ignorant thinking. Who knows?
Yeah,
This
Yep.
is just a game. Yeah, that's the analogy.
I feel that.
Mother Teresa, I was looking up some quotes. I've been big on quotes lately. I'll just type in quotes about something or Aristotle quotes and then just hit Google image and you see like 50 quotes. It's really helping kind of program me. And Mother Teresa says, life is a game, play it.
Yep.
That's Mother Teresa. I was like, and it's the dichotomy of you take it very seriously, but you also detach and don't care. It's like when I play basketball, or Mario always comes to mind, but for me, basketball, I play hard. I want to win. Like you're playing football, you're playing your game. Like you're not fucking just messing around. And in fact, if you're competitive at all and take the game seriously, you're pissed at someone who's not taking it seriously. Like we're in a fucking game here. Let's go.
Yeah,
We're trying to win.
I
But
feel you so hard on
You're
that.
scared that you're putting your body to hell. That's the craziest part.
adversity.
Here that you're putting your body to hell at the moment, that is just a byproduct of winning the game.
It doesn't feel like
That
work.
is the analogy. Like, fuck the pain. Run through the pain.
Play a game here.
Play the game. Play the game. I got an airplane or a helicopter over here.
The pain's worth it, and I detach from the outcome in basketball. I hate to lose. I hate to lose more than I like to win, but I only care for a few minutes, and I just sign up. I'm just ready to play the next game. I'm not upset for even a day that I lost this game, but I really want to. So you really want to fucking win. Play this game seriously. I understand all these celebrities are polarizing because of the stuff they do, but Kanye to me is a good example. To me, up until at least recently, he's playing the game at a very high level. He had a car accident that exposed him to death. In one of his interviews, he says, like, we could die at any point. You can just be driving down the road, something hits you. Like, that's how life goes. And to maximize your life. And the interviewer is like, yeah, you're right. And Kanye looks at him, he's like, yeah, so live that way. Like, people who get this they desperately want the whole world. Like, we could die at any point. You're really going to regret not maximizing your life. Take it seriously. Play it fucking hard. Like, go for the top. Jordan Peterson says, pick the highest star as your goal. Aim for the highest star. It doesn't matter. I'm tapping into that because the only reason I wouldn't pick the highest fucking goal, like changing the world, is because I'd be fear of judgment. If this is just a game and nothing matters, why not just pick the fucking ultimate goal that makes me sound cocky and weird? I'll fall around here, but that's better than picking a goal.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking game. It's just, and these people understand it. And that's what Osho and the other ones who are doing evil stuff, they've tapped into this. I care way less about people's feelings now. And I'm trying to balance it. Like, this shit's fake. Get over your fucking, I was in a victim mindset for years. The only thing that worked wasn't all this cognitive behavior. I never went to see a counselor or therapist, but none of this, everything's about the mind and thoughts and affirmations and cognitive behavioral therapy and think positive. That stuff helps, but it's like a Band-Aid. You know what works? You just stop giving a fuck.
Yeah. It's
Man
true.
up, say, I'm being a victim. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care what these people say to me. I don't care about any of this shit. And so I naturally care less about feelings are fleeting. I'm supposed to dictate my day based off your mood and your feelings. I don't give a fuck. I still do, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
these people, they don't give a fuck. They're like, you little petty humans down there think you know everything. It's like, you're a fucking, yeah, they're higher thinking.
Yeah,
So
most
they don't feel guilt when they hurt people because they don't care about feelings at all. I still have that guilt in me, thank God. But
Yeah, I feel you. You reminded me about something like with the basketball game. I used to be super into sports, like, back before I realized it was all fucking bullshit. But I used to be super attached to it, like especially like the Heat, the Miami Heat. That was my team, bro. Ride or die. They lose, I lose type shit.
you wait.
And it's so funny because I caught a game whenever during the playoffs this past year. And since I was completely unattached from it, I actually enjoyed it. Like, I actually sat there and I enjoyed the whole game. No, like, stress, anxiety, oh shit, they're gonna lose, and because I was completely
Like an art.
unattached from it. Yeah,
It's like appreciating an art instead of being
exactly,
yeah.
bro.
right.
Yeah.
Instead of being
And
biased.
life is an art. What do you know?
Good if my team wins. That which is interesting because most people are doing that with politics right now. So most people don't give a shit about society. They care about their team winning. I was telling somebody that the other day because he was quick on like some like, oh no, because Republicans and Republicans and Republicans. And I'm like, look, bro, like that's the problem. You get me? like Republicans are all like, oh, Democrats, and Democrats are like Republicans. And it's like, nobody gives a fuck about each other. Nobody gives a fuck about the bigger picture. They just give a fuck about their own team winning. And that's terrible. That's the same thing we're saying about polarizing towards the light, or other people that polarize to the shadows. That's probably the whole lesson of this whole shit, that polarization is the devil, right? That is the fucking, it's homeostasis is the key, bro. That's it. It's balance. That's
But
all it
in boxing yourself in or boxing other people in, anytime I hear people talking about them or the other or sides or teams, I check out. That's not the right way to think. Yeah, divide. It's not about divide and conquer, but putting us into teams ain't good.
And that's happened to us more than ever this year. Like the team
Like 20
game,
different ways they split us up, huh?
but it still falls in line with two sides, because each side still, tends to
They
have the
even
outliers who like
they
don't give
split
a
up the
fuck.
teams though too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
what if they're doing this? What if this is necessary? What if they know this? They
Could be,
know that
bro.
there's the polls. They already know this. Maybe that's why they call it the polls, right? There's the polls, and they say, look,
That's a good one.
we need to be, you guys are going to represent negative, we're going to represent positive. And this is just what we got to do. This is the way it goes. And everybody, some people will track this way, some people will magnetize the other way. And we're just going to keep playing the game. And that's what the game is. And then we'll meet somewhere in the middle somehow, right? Eventually, that's what's happening. Our reality is something in the middle. As much as we look at like, damn, these motherfuckers are like super polar. And like for me personally, right now, the conservative side or whatever, it doesn't seem too polar. It seems like they're just on the same shit. They just want to keep everything the same. And then the opposite side is like fucking completely polar the other way. And it's like, yo, that's fucking crazy. But what if that's a necessary thing to push us into a certain direction? Or
Maybe it's helping the good become higher and better. Like maybe they had to increase the bad to become good, but
challenge, bro. It had to, like, how many people?
when we feel it, it's helped us level up. Us three are admitting it.
Oh yeah, fact. Yeah.
A bunch of people I know, people that
There's
don't
millions, exactly.
millions of people that aren't aware of this concept.
They don't even
Right.
know they're leveling up. They are.
They're still leveling up. Exactly. Yep. Yep.
So
They're just in nature more. They're valuing their friends more, but they're not even aware of it.
Right.
So
Right.
imagine all the people that were like, fuck these evil people putting us through this shit. Imagine if they're sitting back like, yo, we're saving the world. You know what I mean? Like, and we're looking at them like, you motherfuckers. And it's a complete opposite.
Yep.
Who knows?
Could be. It's possible.
That's a plot twist right there,
Like
bro.
we've talked about, there's no absolute anything's a possibility at this point.
It's true, and we've all been wrong before about everything, right?
Yeah. I'm open to being wrong. Like shit, I would like to be wrong about most of the shit I think is that what I would
There's a
call
better chance that we're wrong about it all.
yeah, for sure.
Two
We were wrong
concepts I
before.
like from psychology. What'd you say?
If we were wrong before, I mean,
About everything. Two concepts I like are the brain laughs at what it doesn't understand, and you'll see that in people. They just chuck. Someone says something that's like so accurate, it's so true, it just doesn't register. You just kind of laugh. It's just natural. And then another thing I like is a phrase I heard: the easiest thing to do is point at somebody and call them crazy. And people love to do that in debates. That's the easiest thing to do.
yeah.
You just don't understand.
All insult.
I was driving by this like just drive in and I see this apartment or condo and one of the balconies is like full of fucking plants, like this crazy plant lady. And I caught myself thinking like, oh, you just judged her. You just assume she's crazy. Maybe she knows something you don't know. Maybe her house is fucking awesome, you know? Like get more plants, dog. So that's what everyone's doing. They're just pointing at everyone, calling them crazy. It's like maybe they know something. And with the Mayans and the Aztecs and all the elites today and everyone, I'm not going around killing babies. I don't want to. I'm not going to. Maybe they know something we don't know. And maybe there's the energy. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. Not to use that example, but.
I mean, there has to be, though. There has to be, as fucked up as it sounds, there has to be, I mean, everybody sees a baby and it's the most pure energy. That there's no debate. That is, there's something very special and pure and it's I don't want to say perfect. It's pure, bro. I can't think of the
It's
name.
innocent, has done no wrong.
And there's something very like vibrant about that, right? Like So then, and then also with sacrifice as well, because if you see people that I mean, if you kill a living being, right? It sounds fucked up. Obviously, it is fucked up, but there's extreme amounts of energy in that beyond what we call good and bad. It's beyond that, right? And that's maybe why like Santeria and shit like that, maybe they have to sacrifice an animal and that amount of energy goes towards the transmutation of their soul or whatever it is. It gets released.
Spreads through the community.
Sage, right? This fucking sage
Like,
on
like someone dying, like you said, yeah.
who knows? Or like somebody dying or who really knows? That's probably why people like bless their fucking, back in the day, they used to bless the animal before they slaughtered it, or they'll pray and slaughter the animal and then pray before their food. And there's specific energy towards all of this shit, man. And who knows? Like, we look at everything as bad and good, man. And I think I think it's necessary, but
Yeah,
who
we're
really,
also operating off of the information that's been given to us.
you know?
So
That's our
it's hard to
program,
operate.
right?
Yeah, it's hard to operate from a perspective of actually knowing, because there's so much information that is probably, I would say, is probably hidden from us, I would imagine. If they're,
There's
let's
so
just
much
say,
hidden, and everything they're telling us is kind of not important.
right,
But
like
nobody
if
really
there
knows.
were really secrets of the world, they're not gonna fucking give it to us. Like,
And what like what you're tapping into so much, what you're talking about is so much of, it's so important to me now. It's so much my way of thinking and my way of life now, at least the last month, last 3 or 4 weeks, is not looking at things good or bad, detaching from the outcome, detaching from emotions, but especially when it comes to death. And I've been thinking about it and working on it because for me, that's the best way to prepare for what's coming. We don't know what's coming. So if I can just remove my fear of death, then it doesn't matter.
yeah,
So I've been focusing on death, but it's the exact same concept you're saying, Rome, and it applies for everything. Don't look at it like it's good or bad. It just is. It's not bad at all. It's nothing to fear. It's a
yeah,
tough process to go through, I'm sure, death, but so is life.
for
And
sure.
anytime one of my favorite things is the USS Indianapolis in World War II. The ship sunk in 300, there was 1,200 men on the ship. They got hit with a torpedo, I believe. Sink ships, 300 men go down with the ship. 900 men jump off the ship. The ship sank in 12 minutes, so there was no time apparently for them to call for help. So the dudes jump off the ship. They're literally like swimming away from the ship so it doesn't bring them down. 900 men are in the water. They don't have anything to stay on. There's some pieces of board where like 20 men would come together and form groups, but for the most part, they were just on their little like life vests, but they would sit in their life vests so they could at least sit. And then they were there for 4 days and 4 nights, 4 days and 4 nights. So when 300 survived, 900 in the water, 300 end up surviving, but they were getting eaten by sharks. And the sun was like, they were so dehydrated. Like you can imagine the sun in the ocean, then the pitch black all night. They had no idea if they were going to be saved. It'd be one thing to know someone's coming in 4 days. Like they were in pure hell. And these are young men, 19, 20 years old, young Navy men. They were like, there's a few survivors who have their interviews on YouTube, and they're watching and hearing their friends get eaten by sharks. The bodies are getting pushed by waves on like hell. And what I realized thinking about it is the most hell is every single second feels like a year, and the ultimate hell, because you don't know when a shark's coming to eat you at any time. You can't see. And so when you hear these survival stories, whatever the situation is, they always say it was easier to die than to live. People were killing themselves by drowning themselves. Some would be delusional and say, hey, I'm going down to the cockpit of the ship, and they would just drown themselves. And people would be like, no, don't go, don't go. Some people would just be like, I'm going. I can't deal with this anymore. And same with the Holocaust. I think Viktor Frankl said it in Man's Search for Meaning. It's easier to die when it really comes down to it. It's easier to die than it is to live. Like, because there's suffering in this world. Yeah. And you can get tortured, and it can be, dying's not so hard is what I'm saying.
That comes back to the whole soul thing. That's another thing I've been thinking about lately. So because that's what I think, like, so if this is so fucked up, this illusion is just obstacles and struggle and is suffering. That's what life is, suffering.
Buddha says life is suffering.
That's what it is. So if that's what it is, then why don't the most enlightened people just fucking kill themselves? It's over, right? And so then I start thinking about it. I'm like,
Mm.
it can't be. If there is, if this is a game, right? That's not the way to win the game. That's for goddamn sure. You're gonna probably fucking kill yourself and come back, go all the way back to the first fucking level again. And you're like, God damn it!
It's
I
not
got.
good to commit suicide. Yeah, yeah.
There's no way. There's something to it that you can't give up here, man. But well, you're tapping into the whole like that crazy process, and it brought out. So some people gave up on the game. Some people became just way better at the game. So those people, imagine how good at this game those people that survived are now.
Not fearing death and all that. Yeah.
And I mean, talking about it, how you're saying it's fucking like the most, painful or whatever suffering anybody could ever go through. But then again, you look at it, it was 4 days of their lives. 4 days out of, let's say, any of those guys made it to 100 years. 4 days made them fucking stronger than the average person. It made them level up their soul to a whole new level.
Like,
That,
thank God it happened.
like, thank God that happened. You know what I mean? Like, none of those guys look back and they're like, damn, I wish that didn't happen. I guarantee you that. Nobody, and we never, and that's another point that I was gonna make earlier with the whole like, if I give you powers that you never suffer ever again, and people go crazy. If you look back at your life and I ask you, what are the best times of your life? What made you who you are? You're never like, damn, these fucking times that, somebody threw a party for me and gave me all this shit, or I found money on the floor. That was never the good times ever. You always look back and you're like, bro, that fucking time that I went fucking hell and I made it out. Like that's what made me that's what I'm proud of. I'm not proud of all the easy shit. You get me? So
Those are the easy shit's just a nice little break
and who cares about
on
that
the
shit?
real
Right?
shit.
It was cool, or maybe you could reflect on the struggle. Maybe if you're sitting on a beach with a fucking yacht, you could look back and be like, God damn, all the fucking years I put in to get this shit. But then it's like, that's a second. You appreciate it for a second. You're like, all right, what's next? I got it all.
Journey,
What's
man.
next?
It's the journey. Everybody's
It's
focused on
never the good.
thinking.
It's never the easy.
It's like life is about leveling up. Life is not about happiness and joy. Those are moments. It's almost like suffering equals meaning. It's meaning. It's why am I here? Like, yeah, so how do you play the game?
Yeah, and you're always chasing a destination. You're not gonna sit back and enjoy the journey. And I think it
Yep.
really is. It's about the journey, man. Because it's literally 1 second. That destination, you cross that finish line. It's a second.
Like in the Mario game, right? He beats the level. He gets up on the flag. Chill real quick, and you're like, "Fuck yeah!" You high five your people, and it's like, "All right, next level, let's
Next
go."
level right away.
Right away.
Ooh, and it's about to get harder.
Yep.
Who goes and plays back the old levels? Like, oh, I'm gonna go back to level 1. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Why? That's boring.
And imagine a game if the next level got easier. You'd be like, you throw that game in the fucking trash.
What the fuck? Yeah, this game is whack.
Twisted fuck, right? That's twisted, bro. This is
Dude,
twisted.
a game, and it's interesting that it's interesting that we're on the same page with this analogy, because this is new to me in the last, again, 3 to 4 weeks, but it's everything to me now. Like, if I could only if someone could take everything out of my brain but leave one thing, like there's so many, like, be kind to people, or detachment's important. So many powerful concepts. I think the one I'd want to remember is life is just a game, and not to fear death. Like that, if you can live that way, it takes away so much fear. Yet you don't just sit on the couch and be the ultimate hippie. It's a game. You want to fucking play it. Like I care. I want money more now. I don't care about money more, but why not? I'm playing a game. I'm worth it. If I have money, I'll do more with it. I'll probably ain't gonna travel much now, but I'll help people. I'll do shit with it. Whereas before I was like, money's bad. I don't want money. But I was caught in the good and bad shit. Like, none of it's fucking real. It's a game. It's an illusion. Money is just energy, just like this hat is, just like you guys are. So why not give me that fucking energy, that tool that can buy me? Like, I'm all about freedom. Like, I chase freedom. Most important value to me by far. But yet I'm not worried about getting money. Like, I need money to be free.
Yeah.
So anyways, the game concepts helped me a lot. Detached from things. It's changed me.
Fuck yeah.
Feel that. Detached to, I guess you detach from what you don't need and then connect to what you do. So are you always connected to something? Like, are you ever fully detached? I don't know, is that something attainable?
Yeah, I guess it's the dichotomy, right? Like you're can't sit here and pretend like you're just detached from all alcohol. Like you
Yeah.
care. You care.
Yeah, you want to think that you're fully detached, but I don't know if it's, I mean, at least I haven't gotten there yet. I try to think so, I'm definitely detached from a lot of shit, and I definitely have, especially like in the past, yeah, I would say 4 weeks or so, just kind of like, just like I don't give a fuck what happens, bro. Like I'm gonna be good. I know I'm gonna be good, but at the same time, like I do still kind of, care. I
That's
don't
it.
let it affect. I don't let it affect I don't let it affect me as far as like where I'm going and where I want to go,
In your
and
mood.
right, and being who I want to be, and like showing up for myself, my family, the people I love. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's fully attainable to just completely to detach, because then what are you
And I don't
left?
think we're supposed to. I really think the
Yeah,
basketball game, it's like me playing basketball or Tom Brady playing football. He cares so much. He's not detached. He cares so much.
yeah.
But he's
But he has a level of kind of like,
Effortless.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the difference. Every time, all the greatest people, anything you ever have done, anyone, uh, from art to sports to fucking anything, you do it the best when it's effortless. When you're not trying, I forgot who said this recently. I reposted it. I can't remember. I don't want to fuck it up, but it's like
what does he say?
when you try, when you're trying, you do the thing worse or some shit like that. Like it's very simple, but the
It's like
way that
the flow state concept, being in
it's
flow.
so perfect, man. Because if you really think about it, that goes back to like the whole left brain, right brain, good and bad, and trying and surrender and control, and it's all like this perfect balance, man.
It's
That
just
art,
both. The answer is both. Because Tom
Yeah,
Brady cares so much about the outcome. You kidding me? He yells at his
yeah,
fucking O
yeah.
line like they're his children. Tom Brady gives a fuck.
Just
And at
balance.
first I was thinking like, go ahead, Reese, my fault.
Balance. No, it's exactly what you're saying. It all comes back to balance.
It's like and at first I was thinking like, oh yeah, but he's not stressed about the outcome. But you could definitely argue he's stressed about winning.
good
Right.
stress.
But it's not, yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have like negative, he's not in fear. I really think the only thing to fear is fear itself. Like he wants to fucking win. He's emotionally passionate about it. He's attached in the moment. I think by the next morning he doesn't care. He's back to work. He cares, but he's back to work. But it's what'd you just say, Rome?
About what?
I
Well,
forget. I
no.
forget.
Well, now that you're talking, so
He
what
was saying that it was
makes
good stress. That his
Good
stress.
oh
stress.
good stress,
No,
good stress.
not fear. He's not scared of losing. He just
But
really doesn't
now what this makes me think of is
think with death.
the concept of us being atoms within a body. So Tom Brady, he is an atom of football. You know, like that's why he takes it so serious. That is his job. That is what
Mm.
he needs to do on this earth, this God. He is that, the index finger. Like he's taking this fucking index finger job serious.
He
You
has
know,
a job. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he's not like taking a step back, like, oh, I'm fucking like, I don't know, I don't have a purpose here or
It's
whatever.
just football.
And it's all right, yeah, it's just football. It's like, all right, buddy, you gotta go, kill that cell off and get a new one. Like he's taking this fucking job serious, and I guess that's probably purpose, right? That's where purpose comes in. That's a good concept now because that just like helped me. I'm thinking so many things right now.
Yeah, I think for me, I like to say purpose plus fulfillment equals meaning. I think purpose, and I think it's not perfect, like, but purpose equals meaning. Like we need meaning. Jordan Peterson says the antidote to suffering is meaning. The people who survived in the ocean survived because they were thinking about their kids or their future kids or their dad who didn't want them to go to war. So now if they died, they knew their dad. Like they had meaning keeping them going.
Mm-hmm.
And we need meaning and purpose. Being on a mission, having your why, having a sense of purpose, that gives us meaning. And Nietzsche, from Jordan Peterson, I learned Nietzsche says the man who has any why can bear almost any how. We can level up in this game like crazy. We can do amazing things if we know why we're doing it, if we have our purpose. It's like in Braveheart, he lets them torture him because his purpose is freedom and representing freedom, so he can stand the pain. Pain's inevitable, and it's good, and it levels us up.
Wild. So it's all necessary. Back to square one. Oh, it just goes round and round.
Whatever, man. Nah, it's fun though, man. Like And the more we explore, because I feel like right now what we're doing is we're exploring the darkness. Like these are the things that nobody wants to, especially like the the love and light people and the all peace and fucking those people don't want to explore these things and realize that this is all necessary. We need these dark motherfuckers. We need these fucking sickos. We need these crazy people. We need all of this negativity around us. And that's another thing I noticed. That the more light you are, right, or the more, um, I guess, useful you become, or whatever you want to call it, or high energy, the darker the shit around you gets. And that's one thing that just happened to me recently. That I was like helping a lot of people out, and like I just felt like I was trying, or I don't want to say trying, but yeah, I was attempting to help so many people. I was giving people parts of myself. That's how I felt. I guess that the shit around me was dark, bro, and it's like now there's more things that need me, if that makes any sense. There's darker areas that are appearing that it's like, all right, you want to shed some light, here you go, like if that's what you really want. And that's another interesting thing too, that goes back to the whole like the pain being inevitable. But then it gets scary because it's like if you really really want to level the fuck up, then you're gonna have to go explore the darkest. I used to be scared of death, and because of one mushroom trip, I didn't even know that. And I had a mushroom trip that I felt like I was dying, and I realized like, yo, so what? I'm scared of death. So
It ain't that bad.
why am I freaking out? If I were to die, who cares? I'm dead. I wouldn't even notice. But I'm not dead. So why the fuck am I freaking out? It just because I feel bad? How about I just surrender back to the be water, flow state, all these things. And it was like if something just came over me, like, yo, you're alive right now. What are you scared of death for? If you're alive right now, take advantage of this shit right now. And I realized a bunch of shit that day, and I realized that I was operating from a place that was scared of death. So it was like guiding my every move without me even knowing that.
And doesn't it controls our every move, doesn't it?
It controls everything.
When you fear death,
Even
you're
if you don't
not.
know it, even if you don't know it, it's still controlling little aspects of your life.
It's
But
like it's keeping you in a prison. It's controlling you so much.
Yeah, it's still subconscious, so it's still penetrating regardless.
You don't do things. You're become a fraction of who you could be.
At 100%. I think it's what plagues most
And
of
we fear
humanity,
social.
right?
We feel social. We fear being socially exiled more than we fear death. But that is a fear of death. We
It
fear
is.
social opinions because that can kick you out of your
Yeah,
your group.
fear of loss in any way, I think, right? Fear of
so,
loss can be associated with it too.
so what happened to me is I lost the fear. Like I'm not scared to die at all anymore.
I
But
love it.
now I'm noticing, talking about this, now what I do, what appears is like loss of my children. You know what I mean? And that's like a tough one that I have to go in there and do this work, man. I've been avoiding it. Now that we're talking about it, I've been avoiding like even wanting to think about that. You know what I mean? So, but that's where it comes back to like this being a game, right? That is a fucking level, right? Wouldn't that be a level to make somebody like fucking pass beat of real, like, which is tough, bro. Like you don't even want to think of that shit, but then it's like I'm in fear. I need to just let go. It's my kids are here right now. Appreciate
Yeah.
them now and appreciate all these things. Like the same thing that happened to me with death. It vanished, bro. I'm telling you, in fucking 5 minutes, it
How
vanished.
free? How liberating is it? How freeing is that feeling?
Oh my god, bro! I came outside. I'll never forget this. I came outside to smoke a joint, and I was like, "Fucking!" I just wanted to scream, bro. It was crazy how I felt. I've never felt like that in my life.
Felt alive.
I felt alive.
I feel so alive at now more than I ever did my whole life.
Yeah, same. I feel like I'm where you're at. I think I've conquered fear of death within me. Like, whatever. I'm gonna be dead, bro. But it's more about like the people that I love and care about, like missing them from this world. But when you lose the fear of death fully, you're not operating from that because you know that regardless, you're always gonna be with them.
And it's a selfish fear, not that it's bad.
It is. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
You miss having their body beside you. You miss the company. They're fine. They're as soon as anyone dies, they're fine. If you really believe that,
I know.
now all of a sudden you're not even so worried about your kids. But obviously it'd be fucking awful.
Yeah, true. And it's easier when because my grandma passed away like 5 years ago, I think it was, from cancer, and it was super like out of nowhere. It was fucking shitty and horrible. But the one thing that does kind of keep you moving forward and allows you to deal with it is like, she's good. Like,
She's fine.
good. I'm sad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you flip it and you kind of lose that, I guess, selfishness and make it about them finally feeling at peace and not being in pain, and it does get you through, and it forces you to operate from a different perspective, like, oh shit, okay, they're good, like, let me appreciate everybody else that I still have with me.
Which comes back full circle all the way again. And it's like we've been trying to get rid of this fear of death, and then we became selfish because we don't give a fuck about us dying anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, God damn, bro.
They got kids and shit.
What I should be scared of me dying because of my kids,
Of course.
instead of my kids dying because they'll be all right. I'm the one that has to suffer. So if anything, so that's like, again, it's
Yep.
a fucking
But
game.
then I always go back to they'll be fine. Yeah, like the only thing to fear is fear. Like it'll make your kids stronger. It can make their life better. Like it's all
My wife
an
lost
illusion.
her when she was 16, bro. My wife is the strongest person I ever met in my life, and it was tough, bro. I was there, you know. That's when me and her first got together right after, and it was fucking horrible. But my wife is the strongest person by far I've ever met as a woman. She's a fucking woman.
What happened? She lost her parents.
She lost her dad at 16.
It's tough.
So, and you know, dad, he's a little girl, and they're all, you know, daughters are real attached to their dads and shit too. And bro, but I look at her and I'm like, as much as it's the worst thing that could, you know, one of the worst things that could happen, it's like, that's why you are who you are though. And which is fucked up. It's crazy.
As her roots went farther down to hell, now she can rise up higher.
Oh yeah.
And I look at it like a fucking slingshot. The farther you pull it back, the farther it's gonna go.
Well, it's a vibration. For something to vibrate up here, it has to come all the way. You know what I mean? It can't just like vibrate from center all the way up. It has to. It's a pendulum. The pendulum swing. That's what it is. The Kabbalah, you know, the fucking Hermetic principles, man. That's one of them. The pendulum swing.
Pendulum's powerful concept is I'm just starting to learn more about it. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I guess that's what. And it's weird how we've all been on this right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what's weird to me.
I mean, I just tapped into the feeling of not fearing death, within the last 3 or 4 weeks, last 3 weeks probably.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I don't like. Do I every single second of the day am I thinking this way? No, but I mean it's pretty much. I don't walk around fearing death, and the more we have these conversations, the more it becomes part of our subconscious.
Yep.
We consciously know. Subconsciously, I'm sure some of my actions are so dictated by the fear of death. But fuck, man, like, I don't have to sit there and like think about it. Like, I instantly I don't fear death. Like, I don't want to get tortured. No one does. But I also have faith that my spirit won't leave my body during that, and I won't even feel it. You know, I saw it in my finger, like in high school. It's like you don't feel any pain. You know, our bodies the universe loves us. It's not bad. It doesn't hate. There's amazing ways that it protects us from pain. Amazing ways that it assists us in the death process.
Yeah, surrender
Look,
might be the key to that.
It's a second, right? Pain is always a second. Like we just said about the 4 days. Like that must have been in the moment to these guys. It was like fucking a lifetime. But it really wasn't anything. Like now they look back, they don't feel that anymore. They got through it and they're just like, yo, that was a crazy fucking story like it made them better. And now that's it, it's done. Like how many times you fucking cut yourself or crazy shit? I've had a bunch of shit happen to me, and you're scared of something, and then when it happens, you're not scared because you're like, all right, now I got to figure this shit out. Like I fucking slit my whole hand open, and it was like, all right, at the moment, like my boy was the one that was like, oh shit, it's fucking bleeding, you know, whatever, like freaking out, and I'm just like, yo, all right, I got to clean this shit. Like now that I'm thinking about it, every time that I've gone through things like that, you're not scared. You're just like figuring it out. All right, now I got to move. Like, what's happening? And you're not really in pain at all. You're just moving.
Yeah.
And then
Like a heightened sense of things.
Exactly. So it's weird, bro.
When you're in it, you don't feel. Yeah, you're just operating on.
The only thing to fear, is fear itself.
Yeah. It's true.
Right? You feel me?
Fear. That's it.
Yeah.
And even that, like, don't. I was thinking that the other day because I I've been drawing a lot and shit lately, and I've been thinking of like very impactful things, and that was one of them. I thought I was like fear, fear. Yeah. And it just looks weird because it looks like you're just saying fear twice, but it's really like fear, fear only, right? But then it's like,
Hearing something.
should I even? I'm still in fear. You feel me? So why full circle again? You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know, man. That was something I was thinking about, but
It's true though. You don't feel it when you're in it. You don't. You're fighting, right? Fight or flight. Like when you're in fight mode, you're not. I don't know. Some crazy shit happens to you when you're in the moment, or your house catches on fire. You're not fucking sitting there like, oh, let me feel this fear right now. Nah, bro. You're grabbing whatever you need, your family, and you're out the door. Then when you sit back and you reflect, like, oh shit, that was
That was
scary.
scary.
Yeah. But in
no,
the
the
moment,
part was thinking. The worst part was the fear beforehand.
yeah,
It was
Beforehand.
the actual moment. The moment is never even bad.
It's the
It's,
mom.
it's
It's the mom having fear every day of her life that the house might get set on fire and hurt her kids.
right.
you know?
Yeah.
If it were to happen and she makes it out, she'd be a better person. It would be like if nothing happened. She'd actually be glad that it happened, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And that fear of what's going to come maybe is what stops people from living, and that's the big tragedy of this world.
And it keeps
We're
people,
supposed to be living, not in fear. Fear is keeping us. And maybe fear of fear is good because that allows you, maybe, helps you to take off. It's like, all I know is I'm supposed to fear fear. Okay, I got this opportunity to speak on a stage. I'm scared. I don't know. I don't know if that, all I know is I ain't going to fear that. I'm going to fear the fear. So let me go. And Aristotle, one of my favorite quotes is, he talks about, so everything's a tool, like we were saying earlier. And Aristotle talks about how anger is a tool, basically. He says, being angry and in my mind, I replace fear with anger interchangeably. But apparently the quote by Aristotle is, being angry is easy, but being angry at the right thing at the right time in the right way to the right degree is difficult, and that's not within most people's power. So be scared of having a bad average life.
Yeah.
Be scared of dying with regret in your heart
yeah.
versus dying. Be scared of the right thing.
I guess flipping the fear to like being afraid of things. Because that's essentially what you just did, right? Being afraid of not living a fulfilling life. Still afraid of something. So does that fear then force you to level up and not be, and turn out to be someone super successful because you were afraid of. It's fucked up, man. I don't know shit.
Okay. Come back to like, don't fear anything but fear, fear, and fear. It's like, what the fuck, bro? But
That's
it's,
why you can't really listen to people, because no one really knows. Like, I'm saying don't fear, but then I'm saying to fear this. Like, I don't fucking know.
but that's how we're figuring it out because we're actually talking it, right? Like
Yeah.
most people don't. They're just like, yeah, fuck yeah, yeah. The first layer, I just feel like, so nothing is absolute. There's just layers to it, and that's it. It depends on which layer you're on, and I think it's relative towards your experience and where you're at the time and whatever. Because there's people that are in fear of all kind of different things, that are fear of death, let's say, and it holds them back from all kind of shit, and then they realize, you know, don't fear death because of this, and then it helps their lives. But then you get to this point and you're like, oh no, but I can't fear in this way. So it's all helpful. It could all be helpful if you just change your perspective on it.
Right.
That I just, it just eats my soul saying fear, right? Like saying like fear, fear, you know what I mean? Or fear something else. It doesn't sit right with me. It's more of like embrace, you know what I mean? Or like embrace uncomfortability or something like that. It just feels a lot better.
Embrace fear, use fear. Same with death. I've been saying embrace death lately. I've been saying that lately. I embrace death, and I guess also use death. Use the concept. In Alexander Hamilton, in one of the songs in the soundtrack, he says, I've been thinking about death so much. I forget what he says, but he talks about how he contemplates his death a lot and how that's helped him. Like,
Yeah. I heard what's this guy's name, man? Gary V. He said something like that the other day. I caught a clip of one of his rants, and he was saying that every day he lives as if something bad is gonna happen, like to his family, and it forces him to live each day like with purpose.
And imagine if we had a 3-minute conversation like this at the start of each day. Like you're
Yeah.
sitting around with your village, your tribe, and you're like, just a reminder that this is just a game. There's nothing to fear. It's like you would, and that's what they don't want us doing. That's why the constant distractions and TV shows.
Yep.
But wouldn't the cell of God or the body of God, whatever we're a part of, wouldn't it evolve so much? So why wouldn't they, like, what are they stopping is what I want to know. What are they avoid? Why are they avoiding the evolution of what? Why? You
You
get
mean
me?
the elites or people in general?
Yeah, like if they're holding us back from all of this, like we're just a little fraction of the bigger picture. We're just a little atoms. In the bigger picture, why wouldn't they want they're sitting in the same realm as us.
Why are they messing with us?
Like, wouldn't they want to unite us and make us stronger? Because then that makes them stronger and it makes the whole thing stronger, right? Why wouldn't you want that? So it's either you're trying to kill it or you're trying to make it stronger.
Yeah, it's got to be part of the game.
But they're trying to end the game. Is that maybe what it is? They're just
No,
trying to.
like what you just said. It's part of the game. In order to level up and become stronger, you need to, get through this bullshit that we're throwing at you. But it could be.
There's theories that they're just different. Like maybe there's different species of things here. Like, maybe they're not humans like us.
Maybe there's a theory out there that says something like that.
I know we're probably wrapping up. I got to pee real bad. I'm going to go to the bathroom and come back.
Oh, cool. You're good.
I'll be real quick.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's one big cycle of a mind fuck.
It's never going to end, man.
No, never.
So that's why I feel like I'm where I'm at in the sense of like, I just don't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's I read the subtle art of not giving a fuck. I don't know if you ever caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with a lot of what he says. It's like, I think when you say you don't give a fuck or you don't care, all these society Nazis will make you seem like selfish and it's just some loser who doesn't give a fuck. And it's like, no, I do give a fuck about things that warrant me giving a fuck, but I'm not going to sit here and care about shit that doesn't matter and let it infiltrate into my life. And then it's just going to cause a ripple effect into the people and the things that I actually do care about. Because now I'm not caring about what I should be, and I'm caring about things that, it's like learning how to manage what to care about.
Yeah, micromanage. That's the same thing as what I have a concept that I want to do that says choose what matters, right? So if our thoughts and whatever feelings become matter, literally materializes, you get to choose what really matters, right? Because we're just focusing on conspiracies and we're focusing on all this shit, then that's where we're giving our energy. It's going to create more matter. It's going to cause more of it.
Yeah, where your energy go, what is it? Where your energy flows, your energy goes, or the other way around?
Yeah, exactly. So
where your attention goes, your energy flows.
There you go. So yeah, what I was saying is that she was talking about the subtle art of not giving a fuck. The book is great, and what he basically says is just like choose what matters. So that's one of my concepts is choose what matters in the sense that like literally matters, like turns into matter. You get me? What you're thinking about repetitively and you feel and you believe is what's gonna matter, literally, physically matter. You get me? So it's all ties down to the same thing. Whatever you give a fuck about is what's gonna materialize.
Yep.
So
what you give a fuck about matters. That's powerful.
Yeah. It is, because I was like talking about how, none of us give a fuck and we just have this kind of like, I don't care attitude, but it's not, we don't give a fuck about anything. We just have reprioritized what to give a fuck about.
And we've been touching on it the whole time. It's the dichotomy of it. It's the game of it. I care so much that it's actually making me want to try harder and make more money to do more good. It's making me want to level up, have influence in this world. Like when you realize it's a game, why not?
Yep.
These successful people realize this and everyone judges them. They're not worried about being so nice all the time. They're just trying to level up and just not do wrong, but they don't care if you agree. They don't care if they ruffle feathers. They want to be respectful. They're not trying to hurt people. I care a lot. It makes me want to level up, but I mainly don't care about the outcome. I don't care if I die. Like, how would I? It's crazy to fear death. It's crazy to care if you die. We're all going to die.
Yeah, it's that I was just talking about that today. It's like the one thing when you come into this life is that you're going to die. And it's
And that's the one thing that we fear the most.
and it's the one thing you fear the most, and it's probably the one thing you should work on before anything else, is eliminating that fear of death.
And I think the Native Americans and other more ancient cultures did.
For sure. Yeah, they
They
definitely
saw their
understood it.
grandma die. They saw dead animals every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right, the death rate was, I mean, at an all-time high the further back we go back in time. So these ancient civilizations, what if they knew so much because of that? Exactly. They didn't have that fear of death because it was so constant. You
And
know, we think it's constant now, but it's not. I mean,
they were removed from it. They die in hospitals.
yeah, true.
They removed us from nature, and we used to live 3 generations in a house. We've been removed. I almost think that's like one of their big plots is.
Oh yeah.
I was camping when I first moved to South Dakota a little bit. There's a really apparently it's a spiritual place for the Native Americans, Bear Butte State Park. But I'm walking around, there's like a dead frog in the road. There's a dead lizard over here. And it caught my attention because I'd go for walks every day. It was there for like 3 or 4 days. I was like, oh, that makes sense. No one's going to remove the dead frog. No one gives a fuck. But seeing it every day, just even 3 or 4 times, it gets into our brains. It's like, I'm exposed to it. So the exposure, you want to get over your fear, you got to be exposed to it slowly. So even just seeing that, and I'm like you guys, I've been doing the inner work. I'm understanding this stuff. So seeing that dead frog years ago wouldn't have impacted me. But knowing that knowing all this stuff and then seeing that one dead animal really had an effect on me. It's like, he's dead. It just is what it is. Like, it's going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And it's not so bad. Anyways.
Yeah, no, it's real. And it's true. It brings me to a point where it's like most of the death that we see in today's world is all fake on TV. You know, we're not really exposed. Yeah, and we're not really exposed in our day to day. I mean, I'm sure it's very situational from person to person, but we're not exposed to death, I think, in its most natural way, right? So most of the death that we see or that we're exposed to that gets filtered into our subconscious is all
it's not natural, so it doesn't really subconscious.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like getting blown up on TV doesn't quite build a healthy relationship with death.
No, of course not.
Think about like EMTs and nurses and shit like that. They're completely what if you think about like healthcare nurses and doctors and EMTs and shit. I know a bunch of them they talk about death like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And
it's natural.
Is natural. That's all they know. It's just he said, which is it's actually like a superpower then, man. If we think about it, it's definitely a benefit, that's for sure.
And then there's an argument for how like that can make you come across like an asshole. It can make you cross like you don't care so much about things. And I really think there's something to that. The people that we think are hard at, like everyone's successful, like Henry Ford comes to mind, all these people who achieved greatness, they're not nice. Like there's not many people who achieve greatness are nice. And I'm not talking about like Hitler and Genghis Khan. They're like the extremes of bad people. But people we respect, Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, even like Gary Vee, all these people, like they're not nice behind closed doors. They're brutal. You know, they take over other businesses. They fire people. They don't like, oh, your family. They don't give a fuck about feelings. And it's like they've rised above the emotions of this world and they understand it's just a game.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't got time for feelings when you're trying to be successful.
Does success even matter? You feel me?
I mean, it depends on how you measure success. Because right, we all have our own measurement of what success looks like. So
I'm tapping into success.
For anybody, like, because success could be raising a beautiful family, and that's a successful life. It just, I guess, depends on how you measure it. If you go by society's measure, then I mean, no, success doesn't matter.
And so, like, what's the right way to do it, Ron? Like, that's what you're getting. Like, what's the right way for life?
There's like a thin line between personal success and success as the cell as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So, which is tough because I'm more of like a capitalist mentality, you know, like, which is a more individual success. And it's like, fuck everybody else. You want to be lazy? Fuck you. I'm going to work and I'm going to do my shit. But then again, if you zoom out a little bit, you see like, but that's terrible for the self, right? Because instead of like bringing them, you might have to sacrifice and bring everybody with you and make the cell better. Like that's the. So what success are we aiming for? Which is tough, man. It's tough because everybody's on a different page. So you could be trying to bring people along, but then they're fucking. They got your. They don't have your best interest in mind, you know. So it's tough keeping that mentality. And I guess my point is like, what choose what matters. I guess choose what matters, right? Does a bigger picture matter? Does us all uniting even matter? Maybe it doesn't. Does
Yeah, we could unite for no reason. We could all unite and then just some crazy shit we don't even know about takes us all out.
yeah.
You made me think of this earlier, Rome. Even if we have a utopia, it's like there's this constant pull for it to not be utopia because of the balance of the universe.
Yep.
You're talking about why would they want to do this stuff? Like why would they want to be bad? Why would they want to do bad stuff to people? And I'm thinking, well, it's the spiritual warfare. It's all about the spirit. So they care about what goes on in the spirit land, the dream world. So, okay, we think of it as good and bad, but it's not. It's just positive and negative. And I'm thinking, okay, negative wants to win. So negative is trying to bring people who are either neutral or positive down with them. But then I'm thinking, why would I think that negative energy wants to win? It's not, it's just the universe has positive and negative. I don't think, like, it's the whole good versus evil thing. Is that even true? If the universe has positive and negative energy, which we call good versus evil, why would I think negative wants to beat positive? Like they work together, they're the same.
Does anybody ever win? Nobody ever wins.
And maybe no one's supposed to win.
Maybe.
It's just a fucking, it's just, and you
That's-
know what, that's, I think we're here to, I think this helps me a lot. We're here to experience, create experience. We're here to experience, create experiences, and share those experiences with other people. That helps me understand life a lot.
Yeah,
I didn't
man.
mean to cut you off, Rim.
Maybe the meaning changes over time. Maybe
It
every
does. Yeah, we're always changing.
I think we're supposed to just pick a fucking meaning and go with it. Like I think we're supposed to just make it any game we want. We can play Mario. We can play this. We can just pick our fucking game and play it. You want to be an
or what if we're born with one and it's just discovering it? Because like there's different types of cells in your body. There's T cells that do certain things. There's all these different cells. Like what if a T cell is trying to act like, you know, a different type of cell and it doesn't work out.
I think Cory's frozen.
Yeah, Cory's frozen.
Oh,
Oh,
Right.
you're no, you back.
go.
But yeah, the whole idea of like if we're just an organism, we're all different cells, or some of us are different cells. So and some cells can't try to do the same things as the other cells, right? So does anybody know that? Does anybody know if the categories of cells or purposes or meanings or whatever that there is in this fucking weird world? More questions, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
It just comes back to more questions, man. It's fun.
It's
but
true. And even like, yeah, you think about, you know, you always, I don't know, see somebody outside spinning the fucking sign, or you see someone cleaning a house, or these jobs that you yourself wouldn't want to do, but who's gonna do them?
somebody got to do it.
Yeah.
And so I guess what's like a big takeaway? Like it seems like all three of us are now living in a way where we're agreeing that you should not fear death. We don't fear death. If it's not 100%, it's close enough to 100% for us to be like, I'm so much more at peace and happy now because of this, like not fearing death. And there's so many quotes throughout history about this. Like that seems to be the way. Detach and surrender,
Yep.
especially to something which is inevitable like death. So don't fear it, detach. And that alone helps you go through life so much better.
Yep. Yeah, balancing, embracing death, but still being grateful for life. Balance.
You know, life's the ultimate. And I'll say, I feel like we'll wrap it up. But on YouTube, you can watch people looking at color for the first time through those glasses.
Mm.
I feel like I should do that every morning to start my day. I've done it, 4 days in the past 2 weeks, just sitting there for 10 minutes watching these people bawl their eyes out, looking at red and purple.
Crazy.
And then I'll look at the trees and I'm like, that is pretty fucking beautiful, that green. Like colors make you cry for joy when you see them. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, man.
So life's to be cherished. Yeah.
It's hard to see that sometimes, but yeah, man, like I think that's the whole goal, right? Like when you're too high up, humble yourself down, when you're too, down in the dumps in hell, like realize that there is a heaven, and there's you're in between. You're in between heaven and hell, man. Like
Yeah,
that's
and
what
if
it
you're
is, man.
stuck,
It's
if
that
you're
bad.
constantly stuck in one, you're probably not going where you need to get to. If you're
It's like don't
constantly
take
stuck
life
in
seriously.
hell, go ahead, go ahead.
No, my fault. Don't take life seriously, but take life seriously. And it's like on this level up here, the macro, don't take life seriously. We're fine even after death. But then down here in the micro, it's a game. Have fun with it. Don't waste your one life.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one right there, bro.
That moon looks pretty fucking dope behind you.
Yeah, man, the moon's shining for you, bro.
Oh shit, moon's back, bro. Time for like 10 days. Me and Reese were looking for it.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if it was
people.
visible where you're at, but I didn't see that bitch for like 9 days.
Yeah.
It's
Gone.
interesting that we're all on the same page. We haven't talked in months really, except for a few DMs, and
Yeah,
we're all tapping into the same thought process. You guys agree?
yeah.
There's something happening, bro. I'm telling you,
You can feel it, man.
there's something going on, and what's crazy is, I mean, I for me it was dark as fuck these last 2 months. Like it was dark. I was okay with it, which is the weirdest thing. That's what was actually like tripping me the fuck out. That I was actually fine with being in this hell, right? But now for the last week, I've been feeling like the ramp up, and now with Christmas is the birth of the sun again, and
Wave.
back into like the spring is about to come and all the good shit starts happening again. It's like the timing is just fucking crazy, bro. It's just weird, and there's something definitely going on. It's not only me. I see people that are not conscious of it, but it's also happening in their lives. I'm just aware of it. But it's hopefully it's gonna bring some really good, crazy shit. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I feel that way too. I feel the shift that's coming is for the better.
We'll
Maybe that's
see.
just what I'm telling myself.
Yeah,
No,
work.
it's interesting that we're all three thinking the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence.
I feel good about the future,
Yeah, me too.
knowing that some really bad shit could come, but it doesn't matter because in the end, the future is after death. In the movie Gladiator reminded me of Rome. Roman, you were talking about your kids, how the gladiator, his wife and kid got killed, and he misses them and he's sad, but it doesn't weigh on him because he's just waiting to see them in the afterlife.
That's dope. So now, what happens when we merge with AI and we don't die?
That's a whole nother pod. That's a whole nother 4-hour combo.
Yeah, we'll have another conversation after that happens.
And that's probably something to avoid, huh?
As much as we can, man, but it's kind of, even worrying about that too much is almost pointless because we wouldn't even know. Like if that shit was really
Yeah, you
going
wouldn't
on,
know.
bro, you think you're gonna know? Like I killed a mosquito in my room today and I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, anything's fucking possible. You'll never know. This little fucking tiny thing could kill me straight up. Whether it's of some shit that we don't even know about. And I think they had like a theory going on in the beginning of the year, the mosquitoes doing the nano chips and like implanting them within the GMO mosquitoes coming, I think in 2021 or some shit like
Yeah.
that. Regardless if that's true or not, mosquitoes do carry diseases. So you're sitting here thinking about this elaborate fucking way that they're gonna come and try to take our DNA and come into this new transhumanism wave that we're seeing before our eyes, right? Like you mentioned with the surveillance and even the IG policies now, what you were talking about, Cory, as far as like you think you get off IG, they're just gonna stop tracking you.
You
Like
can't run from the government by removing one app, but then you
you're
still carry.
not. There's no way of running from it. So is it even worth worrying about it?
It's like just play the damn game. Live every day. Live every day like it could be your last. And not to be cliche, but live your life like death is coming and you're not gonna have a second round at this.
Yeah, and you're still giving other people power over you. You're still giving other people power over you and dictating the way you're living life.
Any fear, yeah, I don't want to get into because there are things to fear, but like fear and fear death. Like don't fear other people.
Yeah.
Fear no other man. That's for sure. Fear no other man, no other woman. Yeah, there's things to fear. I fear alligators. Those things are fucking brutal. They asked like Michael Jordan in an interview, they're talking about his confidence, and they're like, "Do you fear anything?" And he's like, "Snakes." So yeah, we're always gonna fear some shit. So we don't want to day, but
We'll cure your fear when you come down to Florida.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Take your ass to the Everglades.
yeah. I take an airboat ride. My boy does those, bro.
Oh shit.
Yeah, motherfuckers close, bro. And this guy gets down, he pets them and shit. The guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Shit. I want to do it now. I'm all about conquering the fears, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, sure.
Crazy.
We're gonna have to do another one of these, man. There's so much more shit to talk about. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It's great talking with you guys. I really like chopping it up with both you guys. It's not a lot of people talking about this important stuff.
No, I think yeah, Rome put it perfectly earlier is most people don't want to talk about this shit. You don't want to talk about, you know, the dark or being wrong or even looking at it from a different perspective. Because we all view it from a perspective of, ah, fuck, we're being lied to and da 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 da, whatever. But it's interesting to look at it from a different perspective. Like, okay, maybe I need to lie to you in order to, you know, whatever the angle is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
be in this world, but not of this world. That's helping me so much.
yeah,
And it's from the Bible, but I'm not Christian or anything, whatever. Be in this world. I don't want to go live in the woods and stare at a tree. I don't want to be the ultimate hippie. I want to be in this world and hang out with you guys and hang out with other people, but I'm not of this world. I don't value material things. I don't value money like people do. I'm not chasing it. But I'm in this world, so I want to live a good life, and I'm about my money now.
yep.
But I'm
Balance.
not of the world. I'm not. But balance.
Balance.
That's why it takes fucking mental energy, and you got to talk this shit out because there's nuances, and the answer is usually both, and then we got to talk this shit out.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
Cool.
I feel like I mean we did let a lot of shit out. You know what I'm saying? We got some kind of I think we explored all different perspectives, man. And I think that was good.
Thanks for having me again, guys. I love talking with both of you guys.
Of
No,
course.
we're gonna do it again for sure, bro. We gotta do it a couple times, bro. We always go, you know. But yeah, man, we'll do it again for sure, bro. There's leaving so much shit on my mind that we got fucking tons of hours to do this shit more. But
Same.
Yep.
yeah,